I am in Marvel, all heroes are my employees. 26. Penglai Building, which is gradually becoming lively. In a dark and empty warehouse. Magneto was wearing his helmet, looking at the machine in front of him. Everything is in place, just one step away from starting your own plan. Although his face was still grim, the blood in his chest was already turbulent. I'm back, I've found my target, in the Penglai Building. The invisible man who disappeared outside the Penglai Building appeared in front of Magneto. He was Magneto's man, Toad. In the Penglai Building. It's convenient for us to do it. This is good news for Magneto. However, there are signs of the X-Men's activities in the building, and it is still uncertain how many people there are. Coupled with the original security of the building, it is terrible and difficult to solve. Hearing Toad's words, Magneto thought for a moment. The X-Men appeared here, I am afraid they are connected with Penglai, we must be prepared. You are going to gather those like-minded brothers, these days. Penglai is also a symbol of human beings. We want to build a mutant society. Destroying the Penglai Building is the first step. Penglai's fame is getting bigger and bigger, even he has heard of it. It seems that all the shares are still in the hands of one person. It's a pity that the boss is not a mutant, so it can only appear in the solution list. The future must belong to mutant. Toad was a little hesitant at the end, and was discovered by Magneto keenly, speak what you want. Then he said, I saw Mystique outside the building. Magneto fell silent for a moment. After the other party left Brotherhood, he also tried to find it, but he couldn't find it. He didn't expect it to appear here now. Did Mystique also come together with the X-Men? Contact with each other first, it is best to pull her back into our team. Mutants' relationship is more complicated than everyone imagines. Falling in love and wanting to kill is their eternal conclusion. Mystique, as a mutant who often mixes with Brotherhood, is not very friendly in the eyes of the X-Men. So of course she wouldn't be too polite to her. Although Beast drank the potion, he was also a male, and with the help of Storm and the little Naughty, Mystique had absolutely no way to resist. Storm asked while hugging Mystique's thigh. Don't resist anymore, tell me the purpose of your coming here. Beast grabbed Mystique's hands, trying to avoid any further contact with Mystique. We don't want to do this to you, as long as you tell us everything we want to know, we'll let you go. A little Naughty is more direct. Lazy Waste hugged Mystique, a proud look of successfully completing the task. You have been caught by me, please explain it clearly. Mystique was startled by them, and then she resisted violently. After all, among the three major organizations of Mutant, her relationship with the X-Men is the weakest. Who knows what they will do to themselves? Moreover, no one can really guess Professor X's heart. She has a weak relationship with the X-Men for a large part of the reason. Although the starting point is good, the way things are solved always feels wrong to Mystique. That's in favor of Brotherhood. After all, no matter how paranoid or stubborn the other party's ideas are. At least Magneto's heart is more open than the Professor. So when she was caught by Storm, she thought the Professor had some idea. The mistrust of the Professor made her never let go. What if the boss is involved? What if you want to use yourself to threaten the boss and let him promote Mutant's life rights protection? Although she also wants Mutant to have a normal life. But if the boss is threatened, she will never agree. But Storm's words made her completely stunned. What are these people going to do? What are you talking about? Put me down, or don't blame me for being rude. Although it has been subdued, Mystique has plenty of confidence. Ghost Rider is downstairs, as long as he finds out, none of these people can escape. Tell me where Magneto is, don't say you're here to work, we don't believe that. Storm asked forcefully. Now that Mystique has been dug up, we must take this opportunity to dig out all the inside information. Otherwise, it is easy to attract Magneto. Shet. Are you all idiots? I'm here to work. Although I didn't understand the specific situation, Mystique also saw that there was a misunderstanding. The others still didn't let go. Although Mystique's expression didn't seem like a fake, but looking at Mystique's expression, guess what? God can't do it. In terms of acting, Mystique is a real big take. You appeared in the Penglai building. It's definitely not as simple as the job. What conspiracy is Magneto planning? As soon as these words came out, Mystique finally reacted. I'm where I want to be. It's about Magneto. I was just helping him before, not the other party's subordinate. In the heart of Mystique, who pursues freedom, she has only ever had one boss. The others are at best partners. Then why are you here? Penglai Holdings is related to all walks of life in the world. Once an accident occurs, the damage to the world economy will be immeasurable. We will not let you destroy this company. Although Beast's words are gentle, the doubts in it have been fully expressed. Penglai's involvement is too great. If something goes wrong, it will be a worldwide economic crisis. Mystique finally understood what the other party meant. They thought they were still on Magneto's side. What a joke. Is Magneto good there? I have long since lost my relationship with Magneto. Now I am the top secretary of this company. The investment and finance of the entire company are under my control. I have no reason to destroy Penglai. This place truly feels like home to me. Mystique said it with great certainty, but Storm and others still dare not believe it easily. Come on, I'll show you guys my work. In desperation, Mystique can only prove himself with actions. The X-Men is just a piece of dog skin plaster. If you don't explain it clearly to them, the other party may always be by her side. Your quiet life has just begun. It must not be destroyed by the opponent. A good quality of life, which can satisfy her desire for power, and, boss, she can't bear such a life. Storm thought for a while. Don't play tricks. If it really is as Mystique said, then this time the danger can be smoothly lifted. She still decided to trust each other once. 27. Mystique. How dare you say that you have no conspiracy? Discrimination is not uncommon anywhere. But in the Empire, it is especially prominent. Discrimination based on skin color has become commonplace and cannot spark a heated discussion among human beings. The prevalent discrimination right now is mutant. These people with special abilities are oppressed by most of the species. Those who arrived at X Academy are considered to have survived, but there are still many people who are still struggling in pain. After all, X Academy can only manage everything in the academy at most, and to the outside world, I can only reply, I can't help. They circulate in the sewers all day long, and at night, they rummage through the trash cans to find the objects abandoned by others. Not a mouse, but living like a mouse. Even with this kind of bullying, they still dare not take to the streets during the day, and the laws and institutions are binding them. Their beliefs still hold their sanity. But now, their madness is about to be unleashed. Inside the sewer, there is a huge amount of space. It's a home built by dozens of mutants. They sat in a circle, chanting and reading the Bible, wanting to be redeemed by the Lord. Especially the leading woman, who seemed to have some holiness on her face. Suddenly, there was a loud noise from the wall in one space, instantly interrupting their pious consciousness. Gathered quickly, trying to find a little sense of security from others. Abandoned since childhood, they have no determination to fight against others. There was another loud bang, and the wall collapsed. The giant juggernaut with a huge iron helmet rushed in, and a sturdy aura made them tremble even more. Behind, Magneto came in. Except for wearing a helmet, like an ordinary little old man, but the fear in the hearts of these mutants is even greater. Because they both know who the other is. You may have heard of me, who was declared a thug by the human world and caused countless deaths and injuries. That's right, I am that person. Magneto said this with some pride. Human hatred is a tribute to him for building the mutant cause. I didn't do these things for my own sake, boys, I did it for you. Looking at these timid mutants, Magneto felt a little sad in his heart. You should live in a beautiful house with the love of your parents, instead of waiting here to rot, stink, and die. Why does this happen? Why do you live like this? Magneto cast an inquiring look at a little mutant girl holding a worn-out doll. Because we are sick, we can't live with normal people. The little girl said timidly. This was the truth that everyone told her, and she took it as a fact. Is that how you define ownability? My countrymen. Magneto glared at them indignantly. It's not our fault, we're not sick. That's just a lie of ordinary people, who are jealous of our talent because it will bring out their mediocrity. We are mutants. We are evolution. Our ability is extraordinary. Magneto's words became increasingly heated, and the words that he said also stirred the hearts of those mutants. No one likes the environment of the sewer, and no one likes the life that is discriminated against. Their sensitive hearts have begun to drift towards Magneto. We are the future masters of the world, whether they admit it or not. Come with me now to witness our future. After speaking, Magneto turned his head and left, ignoring whether the mutants followed. Those who can follow will naturally follow, and those who cannot follow will give up. This is what he learned from the concentration camps. And this is the third mutant colony, and he needs to hurry up. Juggernaut quickly followed, opening the way for Magneto. Mutant, who stayed where he was, looked at each other, all wanting to take this step, but he couldn't get out of the circle in his heart. Until one person followed up first, there was no hesitation at all, and there was firmness in his steps. Everyone showed shocked expressions. That is their big sister, the leader of this group, the most devout person to God. But now she has only crazy on her face. When she chose this path, more people rushed into that big hole. Peng Lai Building. Storm watched in amazement as Mystique handled all kinds of things skillfully. Knowing everything everyone is doing. This level of familiarity is definitely not something that a person who sneaks in can do. It seems that Mystique has really been working in this place quite a lot of time. And looking at the way the other party handles these affairs, the joy that overflows from the bottom of his heart seems to really like this job. Is it really wronging her? Mystique and Beast looked at each other, already beginning to believe Mystique's words. The little naughty was attracted by the firm handled by Mystique. Laying a global new energy network with an initial investment of 8 trillion. Increase investment in physics laboratories, a total of 300 billion. The manufacturing plan without seeing the name, the estimated investment is 5 trillion. Rich people's lives so casual. There has never been a little naughty with more than 200 cash in Kabuto, and it is impossible to imagine how large a 100 million cash is. Not to mention that it is hundreds of billions and trillions at every turn. Just thinking about it makes her dizzy. See, I put too much effort into this company, how could it be destroyed? Mystique pushed the documents that had been processed, and posed the image of an urban beauty with her legs crossed. The eyes of the little naughty who have never seen the market are full of envy. I hope, like you said, we will still be working in the building during this period of time. It is best not to be caught by us. Although he believed most of it in his heart, out of a cautious heart, Storm decided to stay for a while. It's up to you, but let's talk about the ugly first. The company wants useful talents. If you can't satisfy me with your work, don't blame me for firing you. Mystique is not afraid of their investigation. As long as it doesn't affect the company, it doesn't matter if you investigate for a year. She really can be said to have a clear conscience in Peng Lai. The two slowly dispersed, and only the little naughty remained. After all, she was originally an assistant to Mystique. On this day, the three of them spent their time at work like this. After getting off work, Storm, who had finished his get-off work first, waited in the garage for the other two to get off work. Moving her sore ankles, she now only feels that her own feet are not her own. Mystique definitely set herself several times the workload. There is absolutely no way that normal people have so many jobs. It appears to be revenge for our previous actions. If there is no problem, leave after a while. The life of a worker like this is really unbearable. Just when she thought so, she also saw Mystique emerge from the elevator, looking around from time to time. Her face was obviously wrong. Something wrong. Storm sneaked up behind her immediately. Only to see that Mystique actually met another person. Toad from Magneto. 28. Mutants' Dark Battle. When entering this mansion, Mystique had already made up his mind to be completely isolated from the past. It has indeed been done before. But now, she clearly felt that the life of the past came to her again. There was an inquiry from the X-Men before, and now Magneto's messenger has appeared in front of Own. What do you want to do? Mystique did not ask how the other party found her. After all, the other party had already found it. Now he just wants to know the other party's purpose. If the other party threatens the building and the boss, nothing can let the other party succeed. Magneto wants you back. The time of mutant has come, and you should stand with us at this momentous occasion. Toad conveys the words of Magneto. I don't want to care about your business anymore, whether it's fighting with ordinary people or fighting mutant. As long as I don't mess with me, I will never interfere. Mystique said in a tough tone. Having walked out of such a life, she never thought of going back. You are a mutant, and you actually want to be in the company of ordinary people. Did this company make you think like this? Toad rubbed the wall. This building will also be our target. Everyone in it will die. Do you want to be buried with this building? He wanted to use threats to force Mystique to go back, but unfortunately he said the wrong thing. For the current Mystique, 2 points are particularly important, one is Yi Han and the other is Peng Lai. And the other's words touched Mystique's 2 inverse scales. You dare. If you dare to touch Peng Lai, I will make you regret it. Mystique threatens directly. The anger in her heart had reached its limit. If looks can kill, Toad is already riddled with holes. However, the other party was not threatened by Mystique at all, and after showing her a sneer, he disappeared in place. Watching the other party leave, Mystique felt some unease in her heart. Although there are Ghost Rider and Wolverine in the company. But Wolverine is a little brother in front of Magneto, and Ghost Rider is only a man no matter how strong he is. Own combat power will also deal with ordinary people. I don't know what the current Brotherhood has developed into. I hope it's not too big, or it will really be a problem for the boss. Maybe just leave and lead Brotherhood away. This thought appeared in Mystique's mind unconsciously. But her eyes were full of reluctance. Such a life, everything she was familiar with here was still a boss, she couldn't bear it. Mystique, who was in a complicated mood, stepped into the elevator, and she had to think about these things. After they both left, Storm, who was squatting on the side, stood up. Although he didn't hear anything, after seeing them chatting for so long, what else could they talk about? I'm afraid that it disturbed the other party today and made them panic a little bit. I have to talk to Beast. Originally, my legs were tired from work, but now I have been squatting for a long time, and the blood in my legs is not smooth. There was a tingling sensation from the soles of the feet. PFF'd. He fell to his knees directly on the ground with his hands on the ground, unable to stand up. At this moment, Beast picked up the little Naughty who had been working overtime and walked to the garage. Both looked tired. Beast kept rubbing his eyes, his eyelids felt hot. Running back and forth between several projects forced his eyesight and brain power to be overdrawn. The little Naughty yawned even more. If Beast hadn't carried her, I'd probably have fallen asleep on the ground. With the intensity of Mystique's daily work, she just leaves unimportant things to her, and it is not something she can easily undertake. Then, they saw Storm kneeling down in a big salute. The two of them were instantly refreshed, and the fatigue of the day was swept away. In order to thank my own contribution, I was able to do this. Just when the two were moved to tears, they wanted to say something sweet to Storm, but they didn't expect the other party to speak ill of each other directly. You two are blind, don't you see me kneeling here? Come and help me. Storm's heart is completely broken now. The two hurriedly helped Storm up. Mystique had a problem. She met Toad. I saw it with my own eyes. Just in case the two asked something strange, Storm went straight to the subject. Sure enough, when she mentioned this, the expressions of the two suddenly became solemn. Even a little naughty young man understands what this matter represents. Mystique and Magneto are still connected, everything they did before was acting. This horrible woman. It's not the first time that the little naughty has felt the horror of human nature, but this is the most intense one. After going out, the professor can contact us. This news is too timely, otherwise we will all be deceived by Raven. Hank said happily, but he felt a little more regret in his heart. Although Mystique was also kaleidoscopic shapeshift back then, it would never be full of lies. If the other party does this, we can be sure that their goals will not be small, otherwise, they would not have tried so hard to trick us into going back. Storm moved his numb legs while analyzing. And the strength of the other party will not be too much higher than ours, otherwise it will directly solve us and will not use this method of cheating. Hank made further additions. After listening to the little naughty, he looked in admiration. Is this the strength of the teacher, just relying on the opponent's actions to completely analyze the situation? Wait until the three of them drove out of the building. As soon as she stepped out of the building, Storm Girl's eyes suddenly changed, revealing a depth that had never been seen before. No need for Beast and the others to say anything, he already got the information he wanted. Magneto really has a new plan, but after Mystique was frightened this time, I'm afraid it won't be easy to get close. Seeing that the other party's arrangement is so strict, I'm afraid this plan is not simple. Relying on these three people, I'm afraid they can't stop it. For the time being, you haven't discovered each other's secrets, and continue to work normally. I will arrange some helpers for you after a period of time. X-Men are also not rich, both to maintain the operation of the school and to help the bullied mutants. There is simply not enough manpower. The other party doesn't know yet. We have already learned the truth. This is our advantage. Since the other party wants to act, it will definitely reveal flaws. As the smartest people in the X Academy, Beast felt the situation favored them. After the professor controlled Storm with a nod, he left her body. The three were not talking, they were all thinking about Mystique. From tomorrow, the Silent War officially begins. 29. Are you kidding me? Hulk is in my company. In the early morning of the next day, the three of them walked into the Punglai building full of rage. They have already gained the upper hand, and the enemy is in the dark. No matter how good Mystique's disguise, it will not escape their eyes. Storm continues to fight hard in the executive branch. As Punglai Holdings, which is still in the ascending period, the work of the administrative department is the busiest. I'm afraid she won't be able to solve her own get-off work before she gets off work. Beast was still wandering around in various laboratories. He did not go to other places to find clues, but took root in the entire laboratory. Those labs that he did not participate in would still go to the door from time to time. As a scientist, the most precious thing in Beast's eyes is naturally these technologies. He still stands by his previous views. This company has so many cutting-edge technologies, and if you take it out, it can have a big impact on society. Magneto most likely covets these things. Although no suspicious characters were found, it also opened his eyes. The high level of these technologies really made him tremble. If he hadn't remembered Magneto's threat, he'd already threw himself into these experiments. The other scientists were not disgusted with him either. This seemingly stupid man has his own unique understanding of various disciplines. Talking with him can bring him new ideas, and he will not rob the authorship. How could anyone object to such a good thing? Like now, Beast is discussing quantum mechanics with a program director. This experiment should be successful. Why did it fail in the last step, and there is no warning at all? This experiment had already froze. He proposed a new connection method, which was also recognized by the other party, but still could not solve the problem. Beast bowed his head and thought hard, and even put his own task on the back of his mind. The enthusiasm for scientific research has successfully occupied his brain. What's the reason? Is there something wrong with my connection? Shocked by this experiment, Beast was obviously a little disappointed. Seeing this, many people went up to comfort them. After all, they also failed many times, but the effect was not great. A person stands behind him and looks at the connection drawing, and he has a clear understanding. There is no problem with the connection, but it does not take into account that the electrons will not energy absorbing or release energy on the discrete orbitals. As long as the stationary state is broken, it will be successful. A word to wake up the dreamer: the barrier of science is sometimes just a little bit short. After Beast quickly verified it in his mind, he hurriedly turned around to thank him. If the other party doesn't say this, he probably won't be able to think of the problem for a few days. But the moment he saw the other party, Beast's expression changed obviously. He knows this man. With 7 degrees and a huge span of knowledge, he is a true genius, Bruce Banner. As a diplomatic ambassador to connect with the human government, Beast also knows a lot of information from the outside world. Especially the information in the scientific community, he is even more savvy. Banner's appearance, he had also seen in a book the other party made. Unexpectedly, such people are also working in Penglai Building, so it is not so surprising that there are so many cutting-edge technologies. But before he could finish speaking, the project director had already started to reprimand Banner. Ruffalo, don't disturb the other person's thinking, just do your job. Banner also hurried back to his extremely useless post. There was confusion in Beast's eyes. He can be sure that he has never admitted wrong. This is Bruce Banner. With his IQ, it is absolutely impossible to admit wrong. But why did the other party become a character who was called to and fro? In terms of achievement alone, no one here can compare to Banner. The little naughty is also working hard, but in her spare time, I always feel that Mystique is a little sad today. This is not an illusion. After a day of thinking, Mystique decided to leave the Penglai Building. She also thought that Magneto was here for her, and as long as she left, it would not affect the normal operation of the company. After taking a deep breath, Mystique knocked on Yi Han's office door. "Boss, you look good today." Mystique forced a smile on her face, but it was harder than usual every time. She had thought of many farewell words in her mind before, but when Yi Han appeared in front of her eyes, they were all shattered. Just one compliment as usual. Is something wrong? Yi Han asked Yumi strangely. Every time Mystique came in, with or without business, she brought some papers and pretended to have a job, but this time she didn't bring anything. After biting her lip a few times, Mystique said, "Boss, what do you think of me?" Yi Han, who asked this, was even more inexplicable. Hard work, serious attitude, tilde hair is also good. Thinking that the other party wanted to compliment, Yi Han casually complimented a few words, but in the end he couldn't find the point of compliment, he could only compliment the other party's hair. But this sentence continued, and Mystique almost burst into tears. Boss noticed. I thought he never noticed. Own efforts are not in vain. After cleaning up, Mystique bowed and stepped out. Yi Han raised his eyebrows slightly and teased Yumi again. Mystique today is really weird. Mystique exited the office, scraping a tear from the corner of her eye. If the boss can notice the change of own, then there is no regret in leaving. And it's not impossible to come back in the future. Hide for a while, and if you don't get caught, come back in a different way. The naughty little naughty who was resting looked at Mystique's demeanor, only to feel that the other party was brightened up again. He quickly shook his head, admonishing himself. This woman is totally in disguise. The previous sorrow was a disguise, and the present joy is also a disguise. Rascal! You must not be fooled. As usual, when Mystique saw the little naughty be lazy, she would definitely give her a warning look. But now, she swept past her naughty eyes and headed for the elevator. If you have to leave without saying goodbye, what qualifications do you have to discipline others? Halfway down the line, Beast walked in with a thoughtful expression on his face. There were only the two of them in the elevator, and the atmosphere was a little depressed. Mystique didn't want her to find out that she was disappearing again. Beast is also specializing in nothing happening. But after waiting for a while, Beast still couldn't help the impulse in his heart. Why does Bruce Banner work as an ordinary engineer in your company? His level can lead multiple projects. For Banner's respect, Beast couldn't tolerate wasting his talent in that position. Mystique showed a puzzled expression. Bruce Banner. 30. Penglai guards, assemble. The name Bruce Banner, although not as well known as the future. But for a person like Mystique who often pays attention to the development of Jade, this name is not unfamiliar. The culprit of the earlier blockade in New York is now a top criminal wanted by the military. Didn't expect that the other party was also in the company. Mystique's expression became solemn again. There is actually such a thing in the company, which is also an element of instability. It seems that you can't leave easily. Boss is just an ordinary person. Although he has money, money has little effect on these people. And, even if he left, Magneto could take anger at the company. It was as simple as I thought before. All threats must be resolved, so that whether you continue to work here or choose to leave, you can feel at ease. However, in the company, Banner doesn't seem to be all bad. Maybe he can. After some thought, Mystique has a vague plan in which more people are needed. She turned her gaze to Beast. Mystique's eyes made the other's heart tighten. Shouldn't Mystique have found it? But he didn't show his feet. Magneto touched me yesterday. As soon as Mystique finished speaking, Beast's expression suddenly became tense. Sure enough, it was discovered that the other party was in a showdown with Own. He began to fumble for the objects on his body to see which ones could be used as weapons. Although his combat ability is far stronger than Mystique, but under the action of the potion, he is an ordinary person with big feet. Can't fight Mystique at all. But after fumbling for a long time, there is only one car key in Kabuto. However, Mystique did not attack like he had imagined. Magneto may have discovered that I am here. If it is not good for the entire company, I am not sure of the strength of the other party, and I need your help. Although Mystique's relationship with X-Men isn't great, she now needs to gather all her strength to fight Magneto. She knew Magneto too well, and he would never fight an uncertain battle. Beast's original aura had been aroused, and he was ready to fight to the death. But when he heard Mystique's help, he froze in place. Beast looked at each other blankly. What did you say? This is very different from what he expected, and even with his intelligence, some cannot react. After adjusting her breathing, Mystique spoke slowly. Maybe you don't want to help me, but everyone else in this building is innocent, and I hope you can consider them. If you choose to help, you will work normally in this kind of company. If you don't want to, just resign yourself. Mystique is giving them another ultimatum. If you don't help her, then you have to leave. When it comes time for a showdown, these X-Men are the uncertainty. While Beast was still trying to figure things out, Mystique had already stepped off the elevator. Can no longer choose to escape. She wants to fight for the safety of the boss and the stability of the company. Punglai Building, retired veteran cadres, assemble. Mystique didn't choose to go to Banner, whose position was not clear, but first went to Wolverine and Ghost Rider. The three of them have been together for a long time, and it can be seen that the other party really wants to live a quiet life here. The sense of identity with the company is also the strongest. Something happened. Magneto found my trail. I was going to leave, but I was worried that Magneto would not let the company go. Mystique didn't have any reservations, and told the two of her all her conjectures. This time, I don't hope you can help me, but I hope you can help the company. After the matter is settled, I will leave and I won't make trouble for everyone. Mystique apologized to both of them. Don't think so much, before everyone enters the company, who is not behind a bunch of messes. Wolverine's rare comforter. They are all poor people hiding here, just wanting to enjoy the peace of life. He could fully appreciate the helplessness of being discovered by others. Everyone is a colleague. We definitely need to watch and help each other. Don't think about leaving. Maybe you will be needed to help us solve problems in the future. Ghost Rider didn't want Mystique to leave either. The situation faced by the other party is difficult to guarantee that he will not encounter it in the future. He couldn't agree with this happening. You can say goodbye to the past, but never compromise. Seeing the two of them support her so much, Mystique was a little moved. Just when the three of them were about to discuss the plan, Yi-Han walked into Mystique's office, and the heated discussion suddenly stopped. How can you two, as employees of the company, quarrel because of a little conflict? Do you know that this will affect the image of our company? Mystique's response was faster. The other two are also in the hint of Mystique, blessed to the heart. Sorry, it's my fault, and I accept the penalty. The problem should be with me, and I promise not to do it again in the future. The three of them acted in front of Yi-Han. Both Wolverine and Ghost Rider are now liking Mystique. Sure enough, they couldn't let her go. If they didn't have the other's agility, they wouldn't be able to last for long. Yi Han didn't break the trio, but looked at the small theater in front of him with interest. Their work is done seriously, even exceeding the standard, and they can amuse themselves Ichiraku in this way. Such a good employee, he has absolutely no reason to blame. However, the three of them were discussing things together, which made Yi Han have some awareness. During this period of time, there have been a lot of special ability users in and out of the company. Not only did X-Men come in, but other people who didn't join sneak in. The company has been plugged in by Yi Han for a long time, and there is no trace of Toad in front of him. But Yi Han didn't care. It's normal for anyone who doesn't have a few friends to come and visit them. As long as the work is done, they should have their normal lives. Yi Han has always been very open-minded in this regard. But now it seems that there is an undercurrent in the company, otherwise the three of them would not be so nervous. Mutant. They had better not bring those annoying things into Penglai. Otherwise, I will inevitably have to cut the mess with a quick knife. With an encouraging look to Mystique, who was seriously criticizing, Yi Han walked out of her office. The three suddenly relaxed. I don't know why, acting in front of the boss always feels a lot of pressure inside. Mystique looked at the two of them. Only by us, we cannot be afraid of the threat of Magneto, but we can't protect the company, we need other help. 31. Tripartite talks, there is an ambush in Penglai. An hour later, the three parties in the Penglai building gathered together. Wolverine, Ghost Rider and Mystique. Storm, Beast and Little Naughty. And the solitary Banner. Except for Mystique, no one could have imagined that there are so many special ability people here. Especially the Storm trio. By the time they were notified by Mystique, they were ready to fight. As expected, Magneto may be ready to pack them up. But what I saw was another scene. Wolverine is actually on the same front as Mystique. This is how they did not expect. Logan, why did you fall to be with Magneto? Storm came up to directly accuse. The other party has always had a good relationship with them, and after the other party disappeared, they deliberately searched for it for a while. Don't talk to me in that tone, I'm not an X-Men and don't need your education. And I'm not from Magneto, I'm talking to you now as an ordinary employee of Penglai Building. When he said this, he had no hesitation. As an employee of Penglai Building, he is not ashamed, and even proud of it. Storm looked at the tough Wolverine with a little doubt. It wasn't like the Wolverine she knew. And how good is this company? I have only worked for 2 days, and the whole person is not good. But seeing Wolverine testify to Mystique, my doubts about Mystique began to diminish. After all, Wolverine is direct when he speaks well, and rude when he speaks badly. With his character, it is impossible to help the other party act, and he still acts like this. However, there are still some doubts in my heart. After all, Wolverine has not been used once or twice. This time, the guy might be used as a gunman again. Whether you believe me or not, I must protect the Penglai Building, and I will definitely resist Magneto. You are also a member of the Penglai Building. I hope you can also make some contributions to Penglai. Mystique made a plea to the three. With her arrogance, she would never say such a thing. But when it comes to Yi Han and Penglai, she is willing to make concessions. The three of Storm looked at each other a few times, and they could feel the sincerity of the other party. Is such a strong feeling also from the show? If it is Magneto's conspiracy, we will definitely stop it, but for other things, we will never interfere. Finally, the Storm gave such an answer. They have not yet regarded themselves as a member of Penglai, and still hold the identity of outsiders in their hearts. This is enough. Mystique directly agreed with the other party. How could the company have so many disasters? Mystique turned her attention to the restless Banner again. Can you tell me why you came to the company? It's like a normal question, but the tone is not polite. Banner looked at the group of people in front of him, his brain in complete confusion. He was completely speechless about what the 6 people on the other side said before. The matter of mutant is already a semi-open secret, and ordinary people in the society already know it. Not to mention him. But contact with mutant, this is the first time. And there are so many. I just want a quiet life. I don't want to get involved in your affairs, we better not interfere with each other. For these people, Banner is still reluctant to believe too much. Especially the 1-meter-5 man, as long as he got close, Hulk would go crazy inside his body. So he concealed his reasons for coming to the company and did not want to have more contact with them. Everyone has a past that they don't want to look back on. Don't close your heart. We all came from your stage. We don't want to threaten you with anything, we hope you can volunteer for Peng Lai. Although Banner showed some resistance to them, Mystique still played the Wyro card. Listen to Wolverine, this thin-looking man has violent destructive power. Magneto didn't know when it would come, so he couldn't let go of such a big force. You're all mutants, it's not good for me to join you. Banner still didn't want to make a move. Every time he made a shot, it was a disaster. Whether it's an enemy or a teammate, it's the same. I'm not a mutant either, don't think about it when you enter the company, we're all just Peng Lai people. Ghost Rider suddenly revealed a flaming skull. He heard Wolverine say that this person is a double-edged sword, and he must show some strength to restrain the opponent. Sure enough, seeing this face, Banner was quite frightened. The legend of Ghost Rider has been circulating. Many people regard it as a story of coaxing children, and it has become the shadow of children's childhood. And Banner is one of them. The three of Storm were also taken aback by Ghost Rider. I didn't expect Mystique to hide such a strong man. Fortunately, I hadn't acted force first before, otherwise the consequences would not depend on the assumption. When I came here, I naturally wanted to let go of the past, but it's not easy to do. It's me who is being called to the door now, and it may be you in the future. We are all employees of Peng Lai, and helping each other is the most correct thing. Seeing Banner lose his mind, Mystique once again promises some favors for the place. The sweet dates after the big stick are extraordinarily sweet. Banner instantly thought of General Ross. This crazy guy will never give up easily. Once he finds himself, I'm afraid it will be troublesome again. If you can reach an alliance with these people, it may not be an unacceptable thing. The three parties made an agreement in advance, but the relationship has not been closer. But Mystique didn't force it either. She knew exactly what kind of magic Peng Lai possessed. As long as you live here long enough, you will definitely enjoy it. Suddenly Wolverine charged towards one side, and the claws popped out instantly. A few drops of blood were drawn in the air. He had just perceived that a person had appeared there. Sabretooth can feel the position of other people's teleportation with animal intuition, and he is not far behind. However, no damage was done, and the opponent escaped quickly. Mystique's expression was a little dignified. This invisible person should be towed. I don't know how much information the other party has learned. After more than 10 minutes, the invisible Toad quickly returned to the warehouse. This place is no longer empty, and there are a large number of mutants gathering inside. Be careful, there is a problem in Peng Lai. Toad, clutching his stomach, fell to the ground and shouted anxiously. Magneto, who was still communicating with the mutants, looked over for a moment. 32. Sabretooth and Wolverine love each other and kill each other. Peng Lai is definitely not an easy place. There were actually 7 or 8 people gathering there, and according to Toad, they should not be ordinary people. The only ones they knew were Storm, Beast, Wolverine and Mystique. Those who don't know can't determine the variant ability. It seems that there is a deep connection with X Academy here. I'm afraid it's not a branch of X Academy, but also an important partner of them. It seems that it is not easy to start in the building, so you can only wait until the target leaves the building before starting. Magneto paid more attention to Peng Lai after listening to Toad's report. I thought it was an ordinary company before, but I didn't expect to underestimate the other party. However, without the support of strength, it is indeed impossible to make the company so large. The cruelty of this world, Magneto knows all too well. Don't contact Peng Lai during this time, reduce the other party's defense, our actions must not be detected by X Academy. Now that he knew Peng Lai's power, Magneto temporarily gave up his plan to deal with him. Our own plan is more important. However, Hung Lai still needs to pay attention, this is not a small force. Magneto looked at the mutants in front of him, most of the abilities were useless. It may be possible to deal with ordinary people, but they are basically useless in high-intensity battles with X-Men. But he had already thought of the usefulness of these people. Everyone nodded yes to Magneto's words, but no one noticed it, and kept Sabretooth standing aside, with a little more brilliance in his eyes. Wolverine. Hearing this name, Sabretooth's whole person became spiritual. The greatest joy in his life was doing things in Wolverine's life. Things like killing each other's girlfriends are already familiar. But since Wolverine disappeared, his fun was over. Unexpectedly, here, he found the other party's trace again. With 2 huge amounts of tiger teeth exposed, Sabretooth had already suppressed the impulse in his heart. Hung Lai Building late at night. Sent Yi-Han to Wolverine at the awards dance and came back here. Yi-Han was selected as Empire's Outstanding Entrepreneur of the Year, and an award ceremony is underway. Since he was stared at by many real celebrities, Yi-Han felt that Wolverine didn't need to send him home, so he let him come back to rest. Wolverine rubbed her own arm. She didn't move for a long time, and her body felt a little rusty. But the heart is very satisfied. I am really getting used to this leisurely life. But this feeling of contentment did not last long. A burly man appeared at the gate of the company, destroying his emotions completely. The moment she saw Sabretooth, Wolverine's eyes went red. After he quit the fight, he forgave everything before, the only thing he couldn't forgive was the person in front of him. The other party was his most trusted brother at first, and later the one who hurt him the most. Now, the two are out-and-out enemies. Logan, you be ********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* can't kill me." Sabretooth stimulated Wolverine with words. His purpose was never to defeat Wolverine, but to make him the beast he was. "Beast. There is no emotion. Victor, how dare you appear in front of me?" Wolverine's sharp claws squeezed out a little bit, the dumb driver has disappeared, and the murderous beast is back. The two immediately got into a fight. Although fighting level and strength, etc., Wolverine are at a disadvantage. But fortunately, his reinforced iron bones are enough to erase these gaps. Victor is equally unafraid, his battles are much more furious than Wolverine, and even the two tiger teeth are his weapons. A bite on Wolverine's throat, never letting go. Neither of the two cared about their own injuries. After all, they both had a healing factor, and they gradually lost their minds. There is only one idea in mind: kill the other party. The surrounding steps were marked with countless deep marks by the two huge amounts of strength and sharp claws. The violent collision produced a large amount of sparks and made a lot of noise. This is very eye-catching in the middle of the night. There are three now, attracted by the battle between Wolverine and Sabretooth. It was the three of Storm, all of whom were tormented by the heavy workload. The job isn't done until everyone else is off work for a long time. It consumes nearly twice as long as the others. "It's Sabretooth, let's go up and help." Beast could tell at a glance who was fighting outside the building. The hand has already touched a medicine bottle, which is the medicine to restore ability. Storm rose directly into the air, his eyes turned white, and he communicated the power of the weather. In an instant, the sky became dark and violent, and countless thunders gathered in the sky. Although the gathering speed is a bit slow, the destructiveness contained in it can be felt by anyone. And the scope is so large that half of New York City is shrouded in it. Sabretooth, who had already been killed, was also alarmed by this glorious celestial might. After throwing Wolverine away with maximum force, she fled in the other direction. He and Wolverine's duel, but he doesn't want others to intervene. Wolverine chased after him, but was stopped by Mystique, who came in a hurry. "Stop chasing, be careful to ambush." After being together for so long, Wolverine has completely trusted Mystique. Moreover, the self-cultivation during this period of time has also brought a lot of ascension to his self-control. Forcibly pressing the killing intent, the sharp claws of both hands also retracted. Storm and Beast looked at each other. It's even less likely that Mystique is an undercover agent, and it seems that it really is what she said before. Magneto's temptations are getting more and more frequent. It seems that we have to be prepared. You can sleep in the company these 2 days. For consideration, Mystique also arranged accommodation in the company for the 3 of Storm. They are all staying in the company, and Banner made such a request early in the morning in order to reduce contact with people. There are only 3 Storm, and it is very likely that they will not be able to come to support in time. The 3 thought for a while, and they all agreed. Not to mention the issue of support, after the work is completed every day, I feel that people are going to be gone. The drive back to the rental is definitely a painful journey. Sabretooth, who was fleeing, saw that Wolverine was not chasing after him, and his anger deepened. This is not what Wolverine should do. He has been changed by such a life. Only by destroying his current life completely can the real Wolverine return. Want to be an ordinary driver? Wait until I kill your boss and see who you drive back to. 33. Is this what you mean by falling from the sky? Prom in New York, just like New York. On the surface it looks like flowers, but in private it is rotten. As the protagonist of this award, Yi Han has a deep understanding. More than a dozen top-ranked families and chaebols in the world have cultivated top ladies around him. As daughters of a family, their lives are an investment. And Yi Han is a business that is sure to make money without losing money. It's a pity that Yi Han just wanted to try the depth of these businesses, and had no idea of buying it at all. But even so, these ladies are still happy. Just as these celebrities were showing off all kinds of amorous feelings, a burly figure fell from the skylight. He fell from a height of more than 10 meters, but jumped straight up as if nothing happened. With wild eyes, searching for your own target. Yi Han. Where is Yi Han? Shaking long hair, not like a tiger, but a bit like a lion. Who are you? Stand still. The people around were scared away by him, and a rich man shouted to Sabretooth. Sabretooth rushed up and pinched the rich man's neck. The people around then screamed and ran outside. Rich people cherish their lives, such thugs are definitely far away. Even the famous ladies who surrounded Yi Han before were not left. The bodyguards of those rich people are all covering their employers and leaving. But the original security staff of this dance was not a small number. They saw that the man who had been strangled by the neck had begun to vomit blood and shot directly. Dozens of bullets entered Sabretooth's body instantly, but it only hit him and cried out in pain, still holding on to his hand. A bang. Sabretooth directly broke the opponent's neck and looked at the attacking security personnel. He is also a fighting maniac, often forgetting his own target as soon as the fight starts. Carrying huge amounts of Mighty Tiger, he pounced on it, his claws stretched out completely, tearing for a while. Although his claws are not as sharp as Wolverine's adamantium claws, they are also deadly weapons under his prowess. The security guards weren't cut into pieces, but there were huge amounts of wounds all over their bodies. The flesh and bones are torn apart, and there is no beauty at all, it can only represent the madness of Sabretooth. After all these security guards were eliminated, Sabretooth's killing intent was somewhat restrained, and he thought of his own purpose. Damn, Yi Han must have escaped. But when he turned his head, he found that Yi Han was still standing there, and he had no intention of running away. Yi Han naturally wouldn't run away. He hates trouble, but doesn't avoid trouble. If there is trouble, it's fine. Sabretooth immediately became excited when Yi Han was there. No matter why the other party didn't escape, he didn't care. All he thought about was how to kill Yi Han for a moment, and Wolverine's anger after his death. Thinking that Wolverine was going to become Beast again, he was no longer alone, and his whole body trembled with excitement. If there are no extra words, he rushed towards Yi Han directly. He can't wait to see Wolverine's return. But when he fell into the air, he saw Yi Han's expression. No panic, just calm on the face. No one has ever been able to keep such an expression in front of him. What the hell is going on with this guy? Sabretooth's inner anger was deeper, and it was an insult to him. He wants to tear the other party into powder completely. Just when he thought so, he saw Yi Han raise his palm. Have you heard of a palm technique that falls from the sky? An inexplicable aura rose from Yi Han's body. Even with his determination, he felt that there was a heavy weight weighing on him for a moment. Yi Han is no ordinary person. The current Sabretooth just wanted to shout this sentence, but couldn't even open his mouth. What palm method that falls from the sky? Is it the mysterious martial arts of the East? As a special force of the year, he definitely heard the legend of Oriental martial arts, but what he saw was only some ordinary fighting techniques. Buddha palm. After Yi Han obtained Pig Man's martial arts specialization, he understood all martial arts, and this mastery was naturally among them. A burst of energy surged out of his palm, which was completely different from the punch that Yi Han had punched directly. It only used 1/10 of the strength of the original, but it is much stronger than the pure fist strength. Qi Jin merged into a golden palm in the air, and the palm lines were clearly visible. The palm is not big, only about the height of one person, which is different from Yi Han's usual punch, which makes Bailey panic. All the energy was condensed under this palm. With endless power, the palm was printed on Sabretooth's body. Sabretooth's power is completely incomparable to this palm. As soon as he touched it, Sabretooth's bones were shattered by the shock, and then his whole body muscles were broken by the huge amounts of power. His overspeed healing was completely unable to keep up with the speed of recovery. Sabretooth constantly backs off under these huge amounts of palms. In the last second when his brain was still conscious, he looked at Yi Han and just wanted to ask a question. Is this what you said fell from the sky? This is obviously shot vertically. It's a pity that his vitality did not support him to say this after all. The palm passed through the body, and his living breath was cut off at this moment. Even the cells have been killed by this palm, and all the vitality has been destroyed. No matter how strong the healing factor in his body is, there is no route for recovery. The follow-up palm force still did not spread. After leaving a big hole in the wall of the venue, Yi Han flew out of sight. The speed of collapse is very slow, and I don't know where to fly before it dissipates. Ji Yu Wu's power-generating skills were indeed not blown out. Originally, Yi Han had kept a lot of energy low, trying to get some information from Sabretooth's mouth. Unexpectedly, under the urging of Vajra's palm, a little force can exert such great power. Sabretooth, meat shield, did not resist the next palm. What the hell is going on with the recent mutant? X-Men appeared at Own Company and Sabretooth attacked him. Looks like someone needs to be sent to investigate. In the warehouse, Magneto's expression turned pale. Although there are many thorns under his hands, he is confident that he can suppress the opponent, but he never thought that Sabretooth would dare to openly disobey his orders. With Sabretooth's character, he must be looking for Wolverine to provoke. We can't delay any longer, and we will start implementing the plan tomorrow. Although angry with Sabretooth, he could only do his best to remedy it. Tomorrow I will find an opportunity to take the little Naughty away, and you will turn the equipment on the Statue of Liberty tonight. Some of the scientist-turned-mutants nodded, with religious solemnity on their faces. The mutants I picked up before are guarding the device and must not be destroyed by others. Those mutants with powerful ability have been selected by Magneto to become their own guards. The other mutants, led by Juggernaut and Toad, stopped those people in the Peng Lai building. Everyone nodded silently, their eyes full of enthusiasm. During this period of time, Magneto has used his thoughts to deeply brainwash them. In their opinion, what is being done now is sacred for the benefit of all mutants. Even sacrifices are worth it. 34. Showdown, we are not ordinary people. 34. Showdown, we are not ordinary people. After one night, Yi Han was taken over by Wolverine as usual. What happened in the awards ceremony did not involve Yi Han at all. There seems to be a hand that presses all these down, preventing the event from continuing to ferment. Yi Han doesn't care about these either, he is more concerned about the steps in front of him now. Mystique got someone to work overnight to replace all the scratched steps. But time is limited, and those with small scratches are those that are not obvious or left in place when they are occupied. But with Yi Han's eyesight, he noticed this the moment he got out of the car. And even both sides who caused the damage have already seen who it is. He tapped Wolverine on the shoulder, and the other party was clearly at a loss. Are you dissatisfied with the car you drove today? But looking at the smile on Yi Han's face, he felt different. Shouldn't you give yourself a raise? But Yi Han's next words made him collapse. 2 months' salary deduction. After saying that, Yi Han walked past the stunned Wolverine and walked up the steps. The little worry from Mutant disappeared in an instant without a trace. Actually is not stingy, which is both a punishment and a way to relieve boredom. These special ability employees, just like Yumi, can keep a good mood with a little teasing from time to time. Looking at Yi Han's back, Wolverine could only laugh and cry. Boss, you have given a reason. Fortunately, the company provided food and shelter, otherwise it would be difficult for him to live. Just when he couldn't figure out where to offend Yi Han, he saw the sneaky figure of the little naughty. What are you doing? Although he didn't have much contact with him, he could also see that the name Little Naughty didn't come up in vain. Definitely a naughty bag. The little naughty who was found sneered and moved to his side. Wolverine, I want to go out to buy something to eat, but Teacher Orlo won't let me, so it's not good if you don't see me. Little Naughty coquettish like Wolverine. She is still at an active age. Seeing that there are many small vendors outside the company, she definitely wants to visit. But now that Magneto hasn't shown up, Storm doesn't dare let the little naughty hang out. It's a pity that for the little naughty who dares to come here from X Academy alone, she doesn't listen to what you say. If Wolverine hadn't seen her, the little naughty would have been on the stand by now. But Wolverine looked at the big blinking eyes of the other party, and couldn't say a word of rejection for a moment. As you get older, your heart naturally softens. Buy one and come back, don't sell many. The little naughty who got the approval jumped and rushed to a stall selling fruit tar biscuits. Fingers are constantly jogging, none of which are selected. The little naughty with a salary is far more lavish than Wolverine. After all, the other party has not received salary yet. But just when the little naughty was about to pay, the dining cart suddenly disintegrated. The boss fell directly to the ground. There was more than one, and all the dining cars present turned into a pool of metal and gathered in the air. Wolverine's eyes suddenly sharpened. This ability is definitely Magneto. The enemy is coming. Wolverine shouted at the little naughty, but before the little naughty could react, the metal solution had locked her inside, only showing one head, and flew away quickly. Wolverine wanted to chase after him, but before taking 2 steps, he flew into the air, and his body constantly made a metallic vibration sound. Magneto, I know you're here, get out of here. Even if he is beaten by the opponent, he still does not lose his fierceness. And the ordinary people in the vicinity still ran clean as early as the metal solution appeared. Magneto flew over on a metal disc from the side. No matter what you think of me, everything I do is for Mutant, and after today, the era of Mutant will come. The people I need have been obtained, you better not choose to block. After stepping on the metal disc and flying out for a long time, Wolverine was thrown out. As soon as he got out, Wolverine made a phone call. The other party's goal is to be naughty, and they guessed wrong from the beginning. When everyone gathered, everyone's expressions became solemn. Why did Magneto choose to kidnap the little naughty? Banner's IQ is online, asking the most important question. Almost everyone doesn't understand this. Naughty can absorb other people's ability, but the person who touches it will lose ability. What will this ability be used for? Only Beast's expression became heavier. Magneto Master has a technology that can turn people into mutants, but it requires Magneto's magnetism to mutate. But when the machine is activated, it will not only absorb the magnetic force, but also the vitality. Beast didn't finish, but everyone else understood what he was going to say. Magneto must have wanted to use the little naughty as a substitute for Own and turn everyone into a mutant. But this time the focus is no longer on the little naughty. Even Storm and Beast as her teachers. Compared with the little naughty, it is obviously more important for humans to become mutants. The other party takes so much trouble, it is definitely not as simple as converting one or two. At that time, all humans will become mutants, and the whole world will be in chaos. The original rule has completely collapsed, careerists have weapons to satisfy their desires, strength has become the only criterion for defining status, and so on. The hazards imaginable are simply countless. Magneto must be stopped. Even Mystique could not accept such a result. They have all become mutants, so what about the company? Will anyone still work? And the variants are uncontrollable, who knows what will happen to the boss? Never let the other party succeed. It's not that easy, I'm afraid there are already a lot of ambush outside waiting for us. Beast looked outside the empty building. Even if he didn't see it, he knew there must be a lot of people hiding there. Let's go. Let's say goodbye to the boss, it's time for a showdown. Wait until the fight starts, you won't be able to hide it. Ghost Rider took his last puff and said to everyone. As soon as these words came out, everyone froze. They are all used to this company. Even Storm Girl and Beast, who had just arrived, finally found the trick to work. It's not that I work too much, it's that I can't do it myself. During this time, they really learned a lot. Suddenly wanting to say goodbye to here, they are really a little reluctant. Let's go, after all, we are here to save the world. In the end, it was Mystique who said goodbye. But when she said these words again, her heart felt like being pierced by a knife. After all, we still have to part with the boss. Just when they were about to tell Yi-Han their true identities, Yi-Han got down from the elevator, as if he didn't see them in a circle, and went straight outside. What is the boss doing? Banner was a little stunned and couldn't help asking, but no one could give an answer. But there are more ideas in everyone's eyes. If the boss is not here, can we not hide our identities? As for what other people see, they have a way to block each other's mouths. Come on, let's save the world. I don't know if it's because I can save the world or because I have room to turn around. Mystique exclaimed excitedly. They walked out of the door of the building together, and the mutants who were hiding nearby also began to gather towards the building. 35. Banner. I am so angry that I am afraid of myself. Most of the mutants who hide in the sewers are because their physical features are too obvious. Hundreds of such mutants gather here, which is much more frightening than the beasts. Although the ordinary people who received it have disappeared, there are still not a few people who see all this. Many of the employees in the Punglai building are observing the battle situation below. The mutants who have been besieged have become extremely frenetic under brainwashing. Directly drain the water from the front of the building. With us here, you can't make it through today. Don't worry about preventing the mutant era from coming. You are mutant traitors. The battle has not yet started, and the Punglai side has already been sprayed. These choices follow Magneto's mutant, and the three views can be said to have been reshaped. However, Mystique and others were not affected. They are all people with their own ideas, they just choose which side they stand on, and they have never been influenced by anyone. In terms of will, this group is no match for one of them. Get out of the way, or we'll do it. Wolverine's momentum is full, although the number of opponents is dozens of times theirs. Still didn't let him show weakness. By the time he spoke, Storm had already begun to lift off. Her ability, reading article, is too slow and must be prepared in advance. Beast has also drank the potion, and a large number of blue manes have grown from the surface of the body. Rapid Beast, successfully returned. Ghost Rider has turned into a skeleton. Even Mystique took out a tactical stick and planned to go all out. Only Banner. Dr. Banner, although I don't know what ability you have, now is the time to use it. Beast looked at Banner, who was a little afraid of fighting. No matter how you look at it, it doesn't look like a strong man, even if there is a guarantee from Mystique. Although he admired Banner's talent, he couldn't see how strong Banner was. When it's time to be angry, I'll be angry. Banner said helplessly. He and Hulk were extremely unhappy, and the other was like a rebellious child. When I didn't want Hulk to come out, I would make a mess in my body. I want him to come out, but the other party automatically faces the wall and is unwilling to come out. Facing Beast's eyes, he just wanted to reply. What can I do? I'm helpless too. It seems that you really want to stand on the side of ordinary people. Are you still a mutant? Mutant's face has left you all lost. The shame of being a mutant can only be washed with blood. Toad scolded Mystique and the others. Directly order the general attack, the mutant of various abilities. Jumping, flying, or burrowing, they all came towards Mystique and the others. The hurricane has begun to gather, but it will take a while to show its power. Beast stood guard by her side. Relying on the strong physique that can rank among the top of the X-Men, he will stop all attacks from either side. Not so good for Beast, though. He can only rely on huge amounts of strength to fight close to hand, and the mutant on the opposite side, although his ability is not strong, lacks everything. A mutant resembling a porcupine, crawling on the ground, constantly firing backstabs. The strength is not strong, and it can only barely pierce Beast's skin, but nothing can stand the volume. The backstab ejected quickly, like a machine gun. Beast couldn't dodge freely because he had to protect Storm. In less than a while, it was already covered in blood. The bright red blood dyed the blue mane purple. Wolverine is also surrounded by a group of mutants, making it difficult to function. A man who could quickly break a limb reborn entangled him. Dozens of arms had accumulated on the ground, but he still couldn't beat him. After discovering his existence, Magneto specially arranged a mutant for him. Moreover, he has to help Raven, who is weak in combat, resist a lot of pressure. Even self-healing is not easy. Ghost Rider can solve opponents very quickly. However, there are too many own teammates around, and he does not dare to use his full strength, otherwise he is afraid that the opponent teammates will take the blame. Toad looked at the empty tank like a sculpture. It's time for us to go. He also saw that these mutants could only hold back each other, but couldn't defeat them. At this time, both of them had to do it. After finishing speaking, he turned invisible and touched Storm. His injuries have not yet healed, and he cannot fight with high intensity. And Juggernaut rushed straight to Wolverine. After he started running, the speed constantly increased, and the power he carried was also affected. As the host of Ceratox Crimson Energy, nothing can stop him as long as he moves. The mutants along the way were directly hit by him and flew up. There is no obstacle in front of him. Wolverine just did the same, punching the broken limb reborn mutant directly, and before he could catch his breath, he was hit by the Juggernaut. There was no defense yet, and the direct hit broke Wolverine's spine into several sections. Shocking god of destruction. Even Wolverine needs a little time to recover from such an injury. Juggernaut turned his attention to Mystique again. For him, there is no gender difference, as long as it is an opponent, he can fight. Wait a moment. Just as Juggernaut was about to start, Banner emerged from the crowd. Relying on luck and calculation, he finally spent a lot of time in the melee. But when he saw that Mystique was about to have an accident, he still stood up. Although Banner is indeed thin, his heart is still manly enough. Go away. Bean sprouts. Juggernaut targets sprouts like Mystique, a task Magneto gave him. Catch if you can, kill if you can't. There is no interest in this man whose waist is not as thick as his legs. I'll give you a piece of advice, don't make me angry, you won't like it when I'm angry. Banner threatened the Juggernaut while anxiously communicating with Hulk. Help. But his words didn't stop Juggernaut at all. With a wave of his hand, Banner flew out of Mutant's encirclement in a graceful arc. He really didn't take Banner's threat seriously. Not even Ceratox can scare him, let alone this sprout-like guy. Dr. Banner. Beast, who had been watching Banner, couldn't help shouting. Even Mystique wondered if his own intelligence was accurate. Is this guy really the culprit of the previous turmoil in New York? Mystique's absence would not affect Juggernaut's actions, and he directly grabbed the opponent. Just then, a roar came, carrying an endless rage. Hulk. Not sprouts. The green monster jumped from the direction that Banner was knocked into the air. 36. Hulk thinks you're a big girl. Yi-Han is on his way to Liberty Island. Those mutants outside the building, he has also had perception. But he doesn't want to pay attention to these small roles now. Naturally, the employees in the company will solve it, otherwise they will really be raised in vain. Now he is more concerned about one thing. Magneto. Rascal. Through the intelligence that has been sent to find out, Magneto installed a device on the Statue of Liberty on Liberty Island in New York Harbor. Connect these 3 points. It is self-evident what will happen. Apart from the extremism of Magneto, what else could it be to turn everyone into a mutant? When he got the information on the Statue of Liberty, Yi-Han already knew what was going to happen. Especially after hearing Mystique and the others discussing the little Naughty being taken away. Yi-Han's unhappiness added another 3 points. The good mood he got from Wolverine today was completely destroyed by Magneto. Although he usually treats these employees normally, without any special treatment, sometimes he likes to tease them. But in the end it's its own employees. Whether it's ordinary people, or mutants, or whatever. As long as it's in his company, it's just his employees. He has no hobby of letting others bully his employees. This is not something that the employees deliberately provoked, and he has no reason to blame his own employees. He can only vent these unhappiness on Magneto. In particular, Magneto provokes him. The Sabretooth thing hasn't settled with him last night. Come to my company today and arrest my employees. And let a group of mutants interfere with the normal work of the company. The future may also bring a series of troubles. Magneto's courage is really big. I provoked my own employees, and I came to provoke myself again. Does this mean that my own life is longer? Moreover, Yi-Han really did not want Magneto's plan to succeed. The company can't continue, the business chain is completely collapsed, these are nothing, and they are just things to relieve boredom. But when everyone becomes a mutant, I'm afraid the world will explode completely. People's desires grow with their strength, and people like Yi-Han are too rare. Now that these people are not strong enough, they are definitely willing to follow the crowd in society. But when they master huge amounts of power, they will inevitably seek more benefits and higher status. There are only so many benefits, and there will inevitably be violent conflicts for this at that time. At that time, there will be no quiet place in the world. Yi-Han didn't want to live a quiet life in an alien world. At the moment, Magneto, who has been cleared by Yi-Han, doesn't know anything yet. Fix the little Naughty on the instrument and debug the equipment. Magneto's hands trembled at the excitement of what was about to happen, something that would never happen normally. Mutant is about to become the master of the world, and decades of preparation are finally paying off. What are you going to do? Teacher Orlo and the others won't let you go, let me go. The little Naughty twisted constantly with fear, but her ordinary strength simply broke free. You should feel lucky that your sacrifice can be exchanged for the future of Mutant. Even though Magneto was talking, he was constantly debugging the equipment. Then why don't you sacrifice? A little Naughty doesn't believe Magneto's words, her character is hard to be brainwashed. Magneto started connecting various wires on her body. I should have sacrificed, but Mutant still needs me, so it can only be done by you. Magneto's words made the little Naughty shout loudly, but the other party stopped paying attention to her. Time is running out, no more time to waste. Mutant, who stands all over the body of the Statue of Liberty, also has a sense of pilgrimage in his eyes. Although Magneto is only brainwashed with ideas, than the one without religion. But to them, it was a miracle. Magneto is a figure just like Jesus. And they will be the guardians of the gods. Neither ordinary people nor X-Academy can stop the miracle from coming. Such a big movement on the Statue of Liberty was naturally discovered by the government. For a short time, only a few fighter jets and gunships could arrive. But those fighter planes and helicopters sent out were scattered by huge amounts of sound waves before they got close, or the direct electronic connection was out of tune and fell from the air. Most mutants don't use their own ability yet. They are all mutants chosen by Magneto thousands of times, and each one's ability is difficult to deal with. As long as they are there, no one can stop the coming of the mutant era. Magneto was completely unaffected by those fighters, and his hands became more stable. Wait until all the lines are connected to the little Naughty, and all the lines have been connected successfully. Looking at Magneto's eyes, little Naughty knew that his own time was running out. Teacher Orlo, I will be obedient in the future, come and save me. And Storm, who was called by her, at the moment was holding his shoulders and panting. Before the building, it had become a mess. Just as she used the tornado to swirl most of the mutants into the sky, a tongue came towards her heart. Fortunately, Beast pulled her a hand, so she didn't lose her life. Instead, Toad, who was a sneak attack, fell in a pool of blood. Wolverine retracted the steel claws and looked at Toad, who could no longer be invisible. This time he didn't dodge his attack. The other mutants have been slaughtered. The courage Magneto had instilled in them through brainwashing had been completely destroyed by Storm's tornado. Even if Storm was injured, he wouldn't dare to stay here. They chose the nearest manhole covers and drilled back into the sewers. It's terrifying that they won't dare to come out easily even at night in the future. Only Juggernaut and Hulk are in a tangle. And the destructive power caused is by no means comparable to others. When Storm uses the tornado, he also avoids buildings, but the two have absolutely no concept of this. A lot of buildings near the building were demolished abruptly. The two were fighting, and the others couldn't really get involved, but fortunately there was still Ghost Rider here. The chain was placed directly on Juggernaut's neck. Although Juggernaut's skin was even tougher than Hulk's, it was able to ignite the fire of his soul, but it still made him miserable. Hulk saw Ghost Rider snatched his own opponent, and directly locked the opponent as a target. Fortunately, Banner is now finally able to communicate with the Hulk, where he reassures him. Beautiful work, high five. Seeing that Hulk was no longer berserk, Beast ran to Hulk's side. Dr. Banner's IQ is very high, and his physique is so strong. Except for the different colors, it is simply an enhanced version of him. Bang! When he was standing in line with Hulk, Hulk suddenly punched Beast into the air. This punch is more than the cumulative sum of the previous mutants. After that, Hulk got back into his body. Beast looked at Banner in confusion. Banner scratched his head, apologetic on his face. Hulk thinks you're a big girl. 37. Don't tell me this is a 3-point force, I don't believe it. The top of the Statue of Liberty, everything is ready. Magneto has also started to officially start the machine. Holding the little Naughty arm, his expression suddenly turned hideous. Being absorbed by a Naughty ability requires huge amounts of pain. Even someone like Wolverine who bleeds more than sweats, it hurts to breathe. Even though Magneto's heart was like steel, he couldn't help but let out a low-pitched cry of pain. And the little Naughty, she also suffered great pain. The ability that was just absorbed was absorbed by the machine again. What was lost along with ability was her vitality. Many black hair began to fade and turned gray. I have never endured such a painful little Naughty, my brain finally couldn't bear it, and passed out. But looking at her twitching expression from time to time, she knew that the pain was not far from her. The mutants who were guarding them all focused their attention, paying attention to every move around them. The plan has come to the most critical time, and it must not be taken lightly at this time. Someone is coming over there. Mutant with eyes 3 times the size of an ordinary person suddenly pointed in one direction and said. It was Yi-Han who came. No one talked to Yi-Han much, and everyone around the Statue of Liberty during this period was their enemy. It is better to kill 1,000 wrong people than to let one go. A female mutant slapped both hands, and huge amounts of shock waves emanated from her palms, heading towards Yi-Han. All the air along the way showed its essence under the action of the shock wave. But Yi-Han didn't mean to block at all. When the shock wave touched him, it was like being blown by a gust of wind, and it had no effect at all. All the trees would have been uprooted if the surrounding ground had not been turned over by the shaking earth. This mutant has to doubt whether own ability has expired. Now, all the mutants know that the Comer is no ordinary person. This female mutant who can emit shock waves is also the most powerful group among them. Even the opponent's strength was not detected. Seeing that Yi-Han was still moving forward, he immediately used their ability with all his strength. But these are all in vain. Their eyes couldn't see Yi Han's movement at all, except for the big-eyed mutant. On the right, Yi Han's movement speed was already his observation limit. Only a vague figure could be seen. But it also points the way for others to attack. However, before their fireball, shockwave and other abilities were attacked, Yi Han's fist power had already passed. 7 Wounded Fists. This is another martial art that Yi Han learned from Pig Man's martial arts specialization. This fist technique has a kind of shock wave when attacking, which is far stronger than the shock wave of the female mutant when Yi Han uses it. The only downside is that the skill is too strong and powerful, and requires a strong physique to support. Otherwise, when practicing, it is easy to be affected by the power of this shock to the internal organs. And Yi Han, in addition to not lacking money, the most important thing is physical fitness. The strength of this punch, Yi Han used a lot of energy. As soon as he punched out, violent power emerged. Those shocks were also mixed with fist strength, adding another dark strength to the destructive power. Those mutant attacks were turned into nothingness in an instant. Even Mutant himself lost his voice in the punch. Chilling, violent, raging, shocking. This kind of domineering punching force directly knocked out the lower body of the Statue of Liberty and its base. Magneto, who was at the top of the Statue of Liberty, was a little unsteady due to the violent shaking. Contact with the little Naughty was also cut off. What happened? Magneto asked loudly, but no one answered. Even those who narrowly escaped from the punch just now were stunned by Yi Han's punch. Magneto looked out, only to see that the Statue of Liberty was actually falling. What the hell happened? Did the Empire fire a missile? Why didn't these guys stop me? But he also knew that this was not the time to think carefully, and the metal instrument that controlled them quickly fell to the ground. There was no disappointment on Magneto's face, despite the shocking change he didn't expect. As long as the machine is not destroyed and the little Naughty is still there, I have not lost. Just when he thought so, he pressed the metal instrument with one hand. Who are you? Looking at Yi Han who suddenly appeared, Magneto drank loudly. The steel bars nearby had already gathered in the air, just waiting to be projected towards Yi Han. Run away, he's Satan. You can't fight him, you'll die. The Statue of Liberty was interrupted by him. Such a power, no matter what we do, we can't stop it. Of the dozens of mutants, there were only less than 5 left, and they didn't even have the courage to look directly at Yi Han. In their eyes Magneto is God, but Satan is even more terrifying. Magneto's eyes narrowed, it was this man who ruined his own plan. Then the enemy. But before he could activate the magnetic force, Yi Han's fist had already been punched. With this punch, Yi Han used 3 layers of power. What Magneto did, he was very dissatisfied. The muscles of the whole body swelled under the influence of the shocking force of the 7 Wounds fist. If it wasn't for Yi Han's unusual physique, he would have been torn apart by this power first. Yi Han's feet were also much more stable than usual. He also wanted to know how much his own strength had reached after training for such a long time. Yi Han's fist was formed in Magneto's eyes, and it seemed that there was a destructive power accumulated in this fist. Although he didn't let it go, it also made the hair on his whole body stand up. Then, there is no then. The power of the wedding dress magic poured out, and instantly eliminated Magneto in front of him. His skin, flesh, and even bones were completely destroyed by the fist in an instant. There is no trace of him that can prove that he has come to this world. The follow-up power swept over half of the island, and the foundation of Liberty Island was cracked. The fist strength was introduced into the sea along these cracks. After entering the sea, the fist energy spreads like thunder. Like a volcanic eruption below, the sea suddenly rolled up, and it didn't stop for a long time. The surrounding marine animals were churned into blood, and the seawater turned bloody. The blood waves, accompanied by fist strength, shot towards the farther sea. The matter was resolved. Yi Han glanced at the little Naughty in the instrument. The vitality has been overdrawn a lot, but it is not enough to die. Putting her in a safe place, turned around and destroyed Magneto's instrument. It's better to destroy this kind of thing, or let others get it, and it's hard to guarantee that you won't be in trouble again. 38. This island was smashed by fists. By the time Mystique and the others dragged the beaten Juggernaut to Liberty Island, Yi-Han had already left. The island was full of huge amounts of ravines, all of which were shaken out by Yi-Han's punch. And the whole island is slowly sinking. I am afraid that tomorrow, the total area of the Empire will be reduced by such a piece. However, this island does not have a run-down beauty. Especially when this broken island is located in a sea of blood. It's a pity that none of the people present are interested in enjoying all this. How did Liberty Island become like this? Magneto did it. Banner looked at the scene in front of him, wondering how it was caused. Even if he turned into Hulk, he would never be able to do that. Beast frowned, unable to give any answer. The effect of that machine is definitely not like this. Only this, he can be sure. Mystique thought for a while. Maybe there was an accident that caused the island to become like this. Neither Banner nor Beast agree with this answer. This kind of technology, even if there is an accident, is definitely not such an accident. It should be to turn humans into other creatures, or to collapse the direct genetic chain. Damage caused by such a powerful force is unlikely. Ghost Rider zipped the chain hard. What else is Magneto preparing here? Don't try to hide it. Juggernaut, who has been chained all the time, seems to accept his fate, and he will say whatever he asks. No, the equipment here was installed last night. Ghost Rider's ability is too restrained to him. He can feel that this skull definitely has the ability to kill himself. And Storm and the green-skinned fatty can also fight against him. Wolverine and Beast could hold him back even if they were weaker. This is totally worthless. He has decided to confess. After all, Juggernaut is just stupid, not really stupid. No useful information was obtained, and everyone was a little irritable. Little Naughty is here. Just when several people were thinking about what happened, Wolverine, the representative of the Action faction, found the Little Naughty. At the furthest point in the rift, as long as the island doesn't sink, she'll have no problem. Hearing the news of the Little Naughty, Storm no longer has the usual sternness, but instead shows his inner softness. Originally, she was already prepared for the Little Naughty death. After all, the island has become like this, and the Little Naughty is not much better. When they saw the Little Naughty posture, their inner doubts became more and more. The other party was lying flat on the ground. This is not the posture that he should have when he fainted after escaping alone. She was put here. There should be instruments there. Let's take a look. Mystique looked at the instrument, and there should be something there. You go first, I'll take care of this child. Looking at the white hair on the Little Naughty head, Storm Girl can guess that she has suffered a lot. The machine is located in the center of the rift, from which all rifts spread. They found this as they walked near the machine. Is the abnormality of the island really related to the instrument? The two tech giants Beast and Banner also began to doubt themselves. The machine is completely destroyed, it should be man-made, and all the important parts have been turned into powder, which cannot be recovered at all. Beast said after examining it. It seems that someone really came ahead of them and rescued the Little Naughty. I don't know if this person saw what happened. Banner is also somewhat interested in this machine, but he has never been exposed to this kind of technology, so he can't get it at all. It turned out that Wolverine was standing in the center of the crack, not knowing what she was looking at. Have you found anything? Banner and Wolverine stood in a row, only feeling that the field of vision was wide, and the others were not unusual. Wolverine seemed unsure. You said, it looks like a punch. How is it possible? What kind of person can do it? Banner didn't even think about it, so he gave the other party's answer directly. To do this, you just need to calculate the kinetic energy needed, and it's absolutely impossible. As he said that, he even made a fist comparison. But it was this comparison that made his face stiff. The four folds on the ground really look like the marks left by the thrust of the fist. The result of the spread of power can be correct if you look at it this way. If all this really is a guy standing here and punching, then After telling everyone about this, the entire team became silent. This island, that sea of blood, were all punched out by someone. Even if they were all well informed, they couldn't imagine what kind of situation it would be like. When imagining that picture, everyone feels the body becomes empty. Even people with full hearts like Banner and Beast are not exempt. There are still such powerful people in the world. At least there is good news. Magneto may not be able to escape in front of such people. Wolverine looked a little silent in the atmosphere, and it was rare to tease everyone Ichiraku, but she couldn't laugh. The impact of this punch is too great. I'm going back. No matter how strong he is, I just don't mess with him. I have to go back and talk to the people in the company. If they miss out, we'll have a hard time. Mystique is the lightest one I've ever seen. He did not pursue power at first, and now he has left the conflict. Even if it is such a power, can it be more fragrant than the boss? Others also reacted one after another. Yes, they are all retired people. No matter how strong someone appears, what does it have to do with yourself? Only Beast and Storm still have obsessions. The X-Men are not just to maintain order in Mutant, but to take care of all things that endanger the world. Such a powerful person, they must master intelligence. It seems that the next time the professor contacts us, he will report the news to him. Storm's words made Beast nod. But they completely forgot that their mission was basically done. You can report back to X Academy in person. Just as they were walking back, a group of men in black stopped him. We are the Homeland Strategic Defense Attack and Logistics Support Bureau, and now there are some issues that need your help to investigate. Mystique gave them a roll of eyes. S.H.I.E.L.D. is just S.H.I.E.L.D., what do you do with such a long list? Then she made a call. Nick Fury. There is something for you to solve here. 39. Don't ask. The question is that there is no war in New York. No one wants to be threatened. Especially when the other party keeps getting ahead. Nick Fury was so pissed off by the other party's request that he wanted to hang up the phone call from Mystique. The skin is black and the inside is red, like burning carbon. He was so angry. Since he became the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., his character has become a lot more restrained, and no one has been able to be so angry with him for a long time. And those who angered him paid the price. Even if you are already angry with Ultimate, you still have to help them deal with the aftermath. Because of the strength displayed by Peng Lai, he was more and more shocked. Every time he thought that he had touched the bottom line of Peng Lai's strength, the opponent would show stronger strength. Let him not dare to turn against each other now. Let them go. This matter is top secret, don't keep it on file, and don't spread it. Try to keep your own voice steady and not show your anger. Then the matter in front of the Peng Lai building, you can help us solve it too, it's all by the way. After Mystique got her phone back, she made another request. Nick Fury almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. You call that by the way? You fought so fiercely that the whole of New York knew what was going on with you, how should I fix it for you? If you can't solve it, we will help you solve it. With such a threatening sentence, Mystique hung up. This sentence has choked Nick Fury speechless. The threat of the other party, he really eats this set. Set the Liberty Island incident and the Big Palm incident as 084, and no one is allowed to probe, including me. Comprehensively clear all audio, video and text related to these, and prohibit the dissemination of this type of information. Pass me the original of what happened in front of the Peng Lai building, delete all the others, and publicize that a 3D projection exhibition is being held there. A series of instructions were sent out, and Nick Fury felt a little tired after the medicinal strengthening. Peng Lai actually had so many broken things in 2 days. One is bigger than the other. This time, these things are numbered 084. This number in S.H.I.E.L.D. stands for unknown origin and cannot be determined. Next time you destroy New York City, what higher level numbers can I arrange for you? Now he really regrets rashly contacting Peng Lai, and it has turned into the current situation. But the sins that I have done, I have to clean up with tears. But before he could breathe a sigh of relief, the phone came one after another. Director Nick, we have information that Hulk has appeared in New York. That's the property of our military and it must be taken back. This is a military general, and Ross has started to study Hulk blood now, and he has no time for that. But the other generals are welcome. I know everything about New York. This is absolutely non-existent. If you don't believe it, you can investigate, but it's better to get authorization, otherwise don't blame us for stopping it. Nick Fury responded directly. And let you provoke Peng Lai, I will die. Second call. I'm the host of Project X, my name is Gilbrew, and I got information that there seems to be a large number of mutants gathering in New York. Before the other party could finish speaking, Nick Fury interrupted him. There is a problem with your intelligence, ask your intelligence personnel more often. After he finished speaking, he directly cut off the call. A sponsor of the X plan, where did he have the courage to communicate with him? Based on the group of third-rate artificial mutants he made. But the anger inside was deeper. I'm afraid that for a while, I will be trapped in S.H.I.E.L.D. by this incident and can't get out. Damn Peng Lai, please make me less troublesome. A third call followed. Why does S.H.I.E.L.D. forcefully intervene in the management of the Empire and forcibly eliminate those online information? Do you know how much turmoil it will cause? This time it was the Imperial government. Although the headquarters of S.H.I.E.L.D. is in the Empire, it does not mean that the two are closely related. I only know that if I don't delete these, it will bring about even greater turmoil. Also, the rights of S.H.I.E.L.D. are conferred by the 5 World Standing Committees together. If you think there is a problem, you can go to the 5 committee members to discuss, I only accept their orders. Nick Fury's heart aches when he says this. Don't look at the toughness of this statement, I don't know how much resources will be spent in the future to make up for the relationship between the two sides. If it is not made up, much of the work of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be difficult to carry out. And the 5 committee members will definitely not favor him. Peng Lai, you are hurting me. But here, Nick Fury was able to hold on until a pale blue light curtain appeared in front of him. My old friend, you are making a lot of trouble. Alexander Pierce's head appeared on it. Pierce, this is more complicated than you think. Even his most trusted old friend, Nick Fury, still doesn't show a word. All parties are putting pressure on us, and we have all taken it down, but you need to give us an explanation. Pierce pressed Nick Fury. He knew all the information about the other party before, but now, the other party and Peng Lai did not know what agreement they had reached, which was something he was very concerned about. The helicarrier was not far from being built, and he couldn't let S.H.I.E.L.D. out of his own control. The relationship between Nick Fury and Peng Lai is an uncontrollable factor. I'll tell you then, but not now. You just have to trust me. Nick Fury's words are very pertinent, but his heart is secretly complaining. What can I tell you? Tell you that I have been threatened, and I must help others solve the problem, or I may be killed. Still, there is no plan behind these things. He can't afford to lose this man. Pierce gave Nick Fury a trusting look and hung up. Where are the other members of the Standing Committee? Hydra executives are thinking about Nick Fury's words. Nick Fury can help Peng Lai to cover up like this, and he must have reached some kind of benefit sharing with Peng Lai, we can't help it. A Hydra executive like Pierce suggested. Nick Fury's vigilance is very high, we still need him to help us complete the plan, we can't be alarmed, we can only set the goal above Peng Lai. Pierce had planned to investigate Peng Lai before, but he just wanted to wait some time before doing it, which seemed less deliberate. But with the current situation, it can't be delayed any longer. There are a lot of powerhouses hidden in the Peng Lai building. It's best not to enter the place for now. I recommend following Yi Han first. As the boss of Peng Lai, he must know a lot. This high-level suggestion is very much in Pierce's mind. Brock, you go follow Yi Han, collect useful information, don't reveal your identity. In order to be able to understand the development of things earlier, Pierce directly dispatched his own capable personnel. Crossbones, Brock Rumlow. 40. Correct pronunciation of S.H.I.E.L.D. After the Liberty Island incident, the Peng Lai building was on the cusp. Fortunately, Mystique solved the problem very quickly. After going back, he started to talk way to the staff in the building. Xie. If it doesn't make sense, they will be dismissed directly. Some people in Penglai building want to come, and there is no shortage of these. The employees all nodded their heads, with tears, promising to return to work with peace of mind and not to spread rumors. Facts have proved that money and power can overcome the fear in my heart most of the time. Social unrest, but also S.H.I.E.L.D. to help solve. Although S.H.I.E.L.D. has gradually become a muggle for more and more powerful supercriminals, it is still a behemoth in the mundane world. Even the 5 major countries like the Empire must give S.H.I.E.L.D. a face. Penglai seems to have entered a plateau. Just a little. Boss, that Stark is here again. Mystique frowned and complained to Yi Han. Tony Stark tops the list as his most annoying person. During this period of time, the other party came more and more diligently. It seems that I heard some rumors, so I came to Penglai building to verify. This gave Mystique the urge to crush him. It took a lot of hard work to put things down, and the boss didn't like to care about things outside. If you let him stab out, then all your efforts will be in vain. Seeing Mystique's expression, Yi Han could also guess her thoughts, and couldn't help but smile inwardly. This kind of continuous effort in order to keep a well-known secret really made him unbearable to break it. Then let him continue drinking coffee. If you don't want to see him, you can drive him away. Yi Han said casually. Stark or something, it really is more important to own employees. Mystique blushed and moved to Yi Han's side. Not a while ago, didn't you say you were going out to inspect the work? We're going to leave in 2 days. Are you going? She still remembered that the boss said he would travel with her. Yi Han thought about it for a while. It seemed that he had encountered a lot of troubles recently, and he really should go to relax. Seeing Yi Han nodding, Mystique remarked happily. Get rid of the harassment of Stark, and still have the company of the boss. Happiness really comes too suddenly. With such emotions, even the thought of pinching Stark to death faded a lot. After leaving the office, Stark hurriedly came over. Can I go in now? After knowing that there were a large number of special ability people in Penglai Mansion, this familiar place suddenly became mysterious again. I have always been looking for an opportunity to get to know the inside story with Yi Han. But they were blocked by Mystique. Coffee as you like, and the boss is nowhere to be seen. He was not surprised by Mystique's answer. But he would not give up, and continued to squat with a coffee cup. Moreover, he still has one important thing he wants to ask Yi Han. A while ago, Nick Fury reached out to himself and wanted to develop a hero group. Although he refused, but Nick Fury has been pestering him. There was no way to entangle him, so he could only entangle Yi Han. There must be a close relationship between S.H.I.E.L.D. to help Yi Han suppress such a big thing. Maybe as long as Yi Han said a word for him, he could be freed. But even if Yi Han didn't see him, he could still hide in Penglai. Because he found out, Nick Fury never set foot here. When Yi Han got off work, Stark was still sitting there. If Yi Han wanted to see him, he would naturally ask him to go in. If he didn't want to, he would go up rashly, which would only arouse Yi Han's disgust. He wouldn't do such a senseless thing. As the helm of a large enterprise, this emotional intelligence is still there. Just after leaving the building, Yi Han suddenly felt a gaze locked on own. A few days ago, countless intelligence personnel came from all sides. Those who entered the building have been secretly solved by Ghost Rider and others. Those outside the building have also been blocked by S.H.I.E.L.D. Gradually no one came to investigate, and I didn't expect this to happen again today. Looking directly at each other, a sturdy big man was hiding in the crowd. Exactly Crossbones. Nearby buildings began to be rebuilt, and there was a large flow of people. He took this opportunity to hide in this group of people. No other task was to monitor Yi Han's movements outside the building. This kind of work, in his view, can be said to be without difficulty. But the first time he saw Yi Han, he was taken aback. His eyes just locked on the target, and before a second had passed, Yi Han actually looked directly at him. Not a glance, but a straight stare. Even if they were far apart, he could feel the calmness in Yi Han's eyes. It was as if there was a silent abyss in his eyes, trying to swallow him into it. Yi Han is no ordinary person either. Crossbones, whose body was a little stiff, suddenly thought of this. He quickly controlled his body and fled to one side stiffly. This is important information. It is very likely that Peng Lai did not have a team of special ability people all the time, but was established by a group of special ability people. Those ordinary people are the disguise of this organization. Fortunately, he looked back from time to time, but Yi Han didn't catch up, which made him a little fortunate. Constantly fleeing in different directions, his heart gradually eased. But before he could catch his breath, Yi Han was already waiting for him when he entered an alley. In front of the building. Hey! Where did the boss go? Wolverine drove to the place to pick up Yi Han, only to receive a lonely one. At this point, Wolverine was suddenly alert. They are in the limelight this time, the boss will definitely become a very human target, and nothing will happen. And Yi Han, who was worried by him, was frightening people at this moment and didn't dare to move. Crossbones has a strong fighting instinct, and with that, he has beaten the United States captain. But now, his intuition only tells him one thing: he will die if he does it. The Peng Lai boss in front of him is definitely not as harmless to humans and animals as described in the information. I am the agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I came here to investigate what happened a few days ago, not malicious snooping. Crossbones directly tossed the tiger skin of S.H.I.E.L.D. But Yi Han didn't seem to hear it. When he raised his hand, a stream of air shot out of his fingers, leaving a hole in Crossbones' forehead. His intuition didn't tell him that he would die if he didn't do it. S.H.I.E.L.D. Probably written S.H.I.E.L.D., read Hydra. Nick Fury and Mystique's pact could not be hidden from Yi Han. And Nick Fury still needs to investigate. I'm afraid that the last thing the other party wants to contact now is Peng Lai. At this time, only the more troublesome Hydra would do such a thing. 41. From now on, Hydra is your most loyal dog. Late at night, Pierce looked at the encrypted phone in front of him with a very solemn expression. Crossbones hadn't reported to him for a long time. As your best subordinate, you shouldn't make such a low-level mistake. It seems that there was an accident, and it was most likely discovered by the mutants in Peng Lai. However, he was not worried about this situation. Crossbones undergo rigorous special training, coupled with Hydra's ideological erosion. Even if he is tortured in various ways, he will not say what he really wants. Most likely it will involve S.H.I.E.L.D. As long as it has something to do with S.H.I.E.L.D., it is all about turning the big things into small and trivial things. After all, no one wants to offend an unscrupulous and powerful agent department. Only after this time, Peng Lai's alertness must have increased by huge amounts. If you want to find an opportunity to investigate the truth inside, it is not so simple. Just when he thought so, the door was pushed open. Pierce instantly sensed something was wrong and stood up hastily. HYDRA's rules are much heavier than other places, and it is absolutely impossible to push the door directly. It seemed that Pierce was alone in the room before, but a lot of people suddenly appeared. These were the bodyguards Pierce had brought in. There are mutants, there are fighting masters, and there are soldiers in the army. He had been hiding in this room before, and when there was danger, he immediately escorted Pierce beside him. It seems that Brock has failed. I don't know what you call it. He just sent someone to investigate Peng Lai, and now someone has come to the door. If he says that the other party has nothing to do with Peng Lai, he absolutely does not believe it. I'm afraid it was the Crossbones who told the other party about the base. For this, Pierce didn't get annoyed with Crossbones, but was even more jealous of Peng Lai. What kind of people the Crossbones were, I couldn't know better. It takes more than just punishment to get him to speak. So Pierce didn't want to fall out with Peng Lai directly, it's better to communicate. What S.H.I.E.L.D. has given you, we Hydra triple it. I found someone to investigate me, don't you recognize me? As soon as these words came out, Pierce had some guesses in his heart, but he couldn't be sure. After all, it was too incredible. Until he could see the face of the Comer clearly. Yi Han. He could think that it was someone from Penglai who came here. But I didn't expect that the person who came would be the big boss of Penglai. What is even more unexpected is that Yi Han is also a special ability, and his combat power is not weak. There are quite a few Hydra warriors hidden in this base. Although Hydra is now in hiding, the plan is close to success and there must be a place for the usual planning. That's why this base was created. There are so many Hydra secrets here that the armed forces can even be compared to the headquarters of S.H.I.E.L.D. But even with this kind of defense, the opponent still appeared here silently. This time it's our problem. Hydra will try to make up for it, but if we don't know each other, maybe this can be the beginning of our cooperation. Pierce is still crunching the numbers. The strength of the Penglai side is not weak, and the cooperation between S.H.I.E.L.D. and them is not deep, and they can completely replace it and become the partner of the other party. When the plan is implemented, maybe there will be more protection. Cooperation. Hydra also matches. Yi Han shook his head directly. This time he was here to solve the trouble, not to intervene in it. Hearing Yi Han's refusal, Pierce's smiling face immediately closed. His bodyguards also looked bad. Go to hell. After joining Hydra, they have been brainwashed by Pierce and will never allow others to insult Hydra. The veterans fired wildly without aiming, but the bullets were all directed towards the vital points of the human body. Mutant spat out a mouthful of sour water and made a burning sound when the air was lifted. The fighting masters had already rushed forward, pointing their weapons at Yi Han. Dragon Blast. This was the first time Yi Han used the power of the Dragon Charm. The power of Dragon Blasting, which had been hidden in the body, instantly burst out of Yi Han's palm. The power of flames and explosions reverberated in the room. The flames carry the momentum of burning everything in the world, and the people who are enveloped in the flames have turned into ashes before they can even cry out. Pierce, who had been hiding before he started, had a drop of cold sweat on his forehead. The masters he tried so hard to win over were all eliminated in an instant. What kind of opponent did I provoke, and can Mutant do this? He now knew why Nick Fury was willing to deal with the mess for Penglai. With a thud, Pierce was already on his knees, his forehead touching the ground. He has learned about Oriental culture, which is called throwing the 5 bodies to the ground, and it is the best way to beg for mercy. Let me go, I can do a lot for you. Shout out. Don't care about the word shame. As the boss of Hydra, his loyalty to Hydra is the lowest. After all, religion can only deceive the bottom people. In the face of death's threat, kneeling is not difficult at all. Even now Yi Han makes him pretend to be a dog, he can make Ha ashamed to commit suicide. The resources controlled by Hydra are absolutely beyond everyone's imagination. We have penetrated many departments of the Empire, and even the gangs, many are supported by us. I swear that I will be loyal to you. Everything about Hydra also belongs to you. I will also intercept all the information about Penglai and hand it over to you. Finding that Yi Han hadn't solved himself, he seemed to have caught a life-saving straw. There may be someone to provoke you in the future. Although you don't need to be afraid at all with your strength, no one likes trouble. We can solve it for you. Saying this, the killing intent in Yi Han's eyes subsided. Trouble is what he hates the most. If someone can help him get rid of these troubles, it's not that they can't give them a chance. Remember your words, I won't forgive you a second time. After saying that, he left the base. A Hydra with nothing he needs to care about yet. Pierce had been away from Yi Han for a long time before he stretched out his body. Although all 4 limbs have been kneeling numb, but there is only excitement in the heart. But if Yi Han can come here once, he will definitely come here a second time. Something has to be done to make the other person happy. The person who investigated Yi Han's car before, and the person who held a meeting to discuss Penglai, could not stay. They know too much. 42. I suspect Storm they are controlled. As long as they are normal-minded people, they must prefer a stable life environment. The same goes for mutants. Storm has finished all the work for today, and there is still half an hour before get off work. She can touch the fish for a while. This is completely different from before, she is used to this way of life, and she has some fun in it. Mr. Orlo, It's time to eat. The little naughty wakes up Storm, who is fishing for fish. There was still a youthful and beautiful smile on her face. If it weren't for the graying hair, she would never have imagined how much she had suffered. Okay, let's go. Seeing the little naughty, the smile in Storm's eyes deepened. After the other party was persecuted by Magneto, she has been worried about the little naughty's psychological problems. But I didn't expect that, just going to work normally, the little naughty will automatically get out of the inner closure. This is their biggest problem in X Academy. Every mutant has endured a lot of hardships, and even if there are similar people nearby, they still can't let go. Perhaps the professor's ideas are not all correct. The establishment of X Academy did protect them, but it also alienated them from society. Only by allowing these little mutants to actively integrate into the society can we achieve the goal of friendly relations between mutants and human beings. I have already arranged the experiment for today, so I can celebrate it happily. Beast, who came with the little naughty, can feel his spring breeze just by looking at his face. Banner still didn't want to reveal too much, and was still consuming life in that useless position. And because of Mystique's approval, he was quickly promoted to become the general director of several experiments. This kind of life that can do project research 24 hours a day is simply fascinated by him. If it weren't for the salary day, the three of them agreed to have a meal together, and he still felt the charm of science in each experiment. But as soon as the three stepped out of the building, Beast's eyes suddenly changed. A person of his age would never have such vicissitudes of life again. Storm said somewhat restrainedly. She was too familiar with this look, it was the professor's look. As the Liberty Island thing because of Magneto. None of Storm's three have been out of the building since this incident. There is a canteen for eating, a dormitory for sleeping, a gym, a movie theater, and a bathing center in Penglai building. As Yi Han, who is not short of money, there is no need to fight for employee benefits at all. Just get the job done and how to play by the way. So the professor has not received any information until now. If they hadn't come out for dinner this time, the professor would have thought they were imprisoned in the building. Yes, but the matter is settled, Magneto is dead. When Storm said this, he didn't dare to look directly at Beast, who was being controlled by the professor. Since the matter was resolved, she has been persuading herself to go back every day. But every day, she still works in Penglai and enjoys the life of urban white-collar workers. This kind of work that made her suffer before has become an important part of her unconsciously. So I started to find various reasons in my heart to keep myself here. Who did it? The professor's answer was a little sad. Although the two have been fighting for a lifetime, their mutual recognition is indeed undiminished. I haven't found it yet, just give us a little more time to find the clues. Storm said as if reciting the answer. She had thought that the professor would ask herself those things before, and she had already made a draft in her mind. Come back first, the Liberty Island was directly destroyed, such people are too dangerous. The professor recalled them directly. He's still probing Beast's memories when he asks Storm what to say. Something was wrong, Beast actually fell in love with life in Penglai. The great mutant cause has not yet been completed, and the admiral under him can't stand the attack of sugar-coated cannonballs. They must strengthen their ideological education, otherwise there will be serious trouble. However, he was still persuading the three to come back instead of forcibly controlling them. You can keep people, but you can't keep your heart. The other party must come back voluntarily, so that they can take back their wild hearts. This person is too mysterious, and he also poses a great threat to the X Academy. We must find the others' clues. As soon as we know enough information, we will go back. Storm still doesn't want to go back, this kind of life will never come again. The professor stared at Storm, looking at the other party's heart. No matter how beautiful Storm's words were, he wouldn't believe a word. But he did not reject the other party's words face to face. You can investigate temporarily, the little naughty will come back first. As a student, this is not what she should do. It wasn't until Storm couldn't stand the pressure that the professor finally spoke. I am now the person closest to the top of the company. If you want to snoop on something, you still want me to come. Hearing that he was going back, Xiao Nadi refused directly. Just kidding, how can that old school be as fun as the Penglai building? There are also miniature amusement parks. If Guy and the others miss me, they can come and find me, and my salary is enough to support them. The little Nadi even had to dig the corner of X Academy, causing the professor's body to have some blue veins. I found out the news and came back immediately. There are too many threats from the outside world. The professor gave a final exhortation and withdrew from Beast's body. He was afraid that if he continued talking, he would show his irritable side. The three of Beast looked at each other for a few moments. I think the food in the canteen is not bad, why don't you eat in the canteen? Storm gave what others thought was almost perfect advice. I agree, it also saves time to experiment. I love the food in the cafeteria. When Guy D comes, I'll invite them to the cafeteria too. As he said that, he quickly entered the building. Even if he knew that the professor would not control them again so soon, he still wanted to go back to the building. It seems that they will feel at ease in a building protected by a special position that the professor cannot invade. Xavier's school. The professor regained his consciousness, but his heart could not calm down no matter what. Storm and Beast are too familiar to him to do such a thing. Could it be that there is a mutant who changes the minds and emotions of others hiding in the building? Although the professor always advertises justice in what he does, he doesn't mind using the greatest malice to suspect others. Chin, Frost, go to Penglai to try it out. I suspect that the three of Storm have been changed by someone. If you are sure, bring them back immediately. Phoenix and White Queen both nodded. They are all able to resist the invasion of mental energy. One is the Phoenix force that destroys the world, and the other is the mutant who has only the ability to teach the mind. This way it will never be affected by the other party. 43. Many parties gather together. Penglai is gradually chaotic. When Phoenix and White Queen are preparing to go to Penglai Mansion for exploration. At the old site of the Hand Club in New York, a young girl with a hot body stood on it. This place has been dug up and all the dirt has been turned over. There is also a broken body nearby. It is Mrs. Gao who was put together. But in the end, not all of them were found, and most of them have been mixed with the soil. At the moment, she is reporting work with the other four fingers of the hand. After investigation, all of this is related to an organization called Penglai. They built a building in New York. You should also know about it. Murakami introduced information to Erika, but she knew all about it. Since she returned to New York, although there is no record on the internet, everyone is talking about Penglai. But those things, the dark clouds covering half of New York, the legendary Ghost Rider, etc., she didn't believe it at all. Penglai may be very strong, but it is absolutely impossible to be so fantastic. We need you to sneak in and pass the information inside to us. Salander is more direct and speaks very simply. Penglai easily destroyed an important stronghold of the hand, and if they had to find the keel, they would not want to provoke each other. But life doesn't wait for anyone, they have to acquire the attitude of Penglai. Otherwise, you can't easily enter the range of New York. Although Erika agreed, there was some resistance in her heart. I have been a killer of the Hand Association for many years, my heart has gradually become cold, and killing has become a habit. But the identification with the Hand has never increased. If it weren't for the huge power of the Hand Association, she would have already left this cult organization. It's a pity that I still have to go undercover in the unknown Penglai. In the battle between the two great forces, it is always the little people like us who suffer. The spies from both sides are preparing to enter the Penglai building. But Yi Han is now preparing for a long journey. Before Penglai building, a huge amounts of RV parked here. Since Yi Han was going out to play, he definitely couldn't sit in a car that couldn't stretch his legs. This car is the first choice. A strong man with a face full of flesh, like a giant, put a lot of debris into the RV. Looking at the degree of muscle bulging, you can imagine how much power he has in his body. Who is this? Yi Han looked at this person, he could clearly feel the strong power in the other person's body. But it seems that own company has not had any ability employees recently. It's just a stupid big guy. He has a little strength if he doesn't know anything, and the company took him into watch warehouse. Seeing that Yi Han noticed this man, Wolverine hurriedly took cover. This giant guy is naturally the Juggernaut. As the only captive in the Battle of Magneto, he was not killed by Ghost Rider with a single glance. Instead, they used it as a waste. After removing the helmet, they sent him to the warehouse. If it wasn't for Yi Han's travels with too many things, it would take a lot of people to move them, so he brought them over. It may not be able to see the sun until now, only mold in the warehouse. Hearing Wolverine say this to himself, Juggernaut glared at him. If it weren't for Ghost Rider, he wouldn't be so safe. Even if you can't beat you will immune to death me, he can be regarded as a real hob meat. However, he glanced at Ghost Rider, who was standing guard beside him. Still didn't dare to make any difference. Have you gone through the entry procedures? If not, make up for it. Compared with who the other party is, Yi Han is more concerned about whether he is hired. Hung Lai Holdings is a regular company and does not recruit such black workers. It's my mistake, I'll do it right away. Mystique apologized directly, and immediately went on a long trip with the boss. He didn't want to cause the other party to be unhappy because of this. As for Juggernaut, prisoners have no human rights, so do what you want. The Ghost Rider will serve you if you dare to stab. After the storm came down, the girl in charge of personnel officially went through the onboarding procedures for Juggernaut. A message suddenly appeared in his mind. Guy becomes your employee for Mark Juggernaut and gets the Chicken Charm ability, one of the 12 bonus spells. It turned out that the rough man was Juggernaut. The figure is indeed similar, but it is really ugly enough without the helmet. But as long as he was an employee of his own family, Yi Han would not dislike it very much. In particular, the other party brought Yi Han the ability of the Chicken Charm. This is more pleasing to Yi Han than those abilities that enhance their own strength. Because even the current Yi Han has a strong body, a Grandmaster martial arts, and he still obeys all kinds of traffic rules. But it can't fly. Now, this last shortcoming has also been supplemented. With the chicken ability, Yi Han can fly freely in the sky. Suddenly, even Juggernaut's ugly face became three-pointed cute. Give him a raise. After that, he entered the car. Wolverine suddenly looked at Juggernaut a little unkindly, and let this villain enter the boss's sight without paying attention. Mystique ordered the naughty little one, double it for him. Then he also got into the car. The little naughty figured out how much money he would give to Juggernaut. Double, what is the double of 0? The math scumbag little naughty slapped his fingers, and he didn't understand. The nearby employees who were helping Yi Han with the items couldn't help but laugh. Although Juggernaut's body is too oppressive, and the violent display in front of the building also makes them fresh in their memory. But after the other party came to Peng Lai, they were like sculptures, and they didn't say much, and they seemed a little stiff. They were no longer afraid of Juggernaut. Besides, the big guys in the company are basically nearby, and they have a little more sense of security in their hearts. Juggernaut didn't seem to hear this, and after moving everything up, he planned to go back to sleep. In fact, he doesn't want to leave Peng Lai now. Magneto has been uprooted, and he can't get along well in the outside world alone. Here, although he was imprisoned, he was not restrained. At most, the skull was staring at him. Moreover, recently, several ordinary people invited him to play poker when they couldn't find anyone. This is something that has never happened in this life. Everyone who saw his appearance would tremble with fear, so he also showed his viciousness. Now someone has been kind to him, and the heart inside his steel exterior is showing signs. It seems that this place is not so bad. 44. A silly hammer fell from the sky. At the end of the day, an RV and 4 sedans were driving across the endless wilderness. It was Yi Han's convoy, and now they had come to the western part of the empire. It has been half a month since departure. The company with accounting problems was not located in the same city, and the empire was relatively large, so it took more than 10 days to explain it. But Yi Han also enjoyed it and didn't feel bored. After all, I came out to have fun, and the inspection work is just a drop in, so what if you don't have fun? In the RV, everything is ready, and it will be replenished every time you go. Drive away and stop for a small reception. Yi Han really hasn't had such a good time since he crossed over. In particular, the 3 pieces of information a few days ago have become an adjustment on the way, so that the journey is no longer boring. Jin Gray, Phoenix becomes your employee, and gets the reward, Soren's 1 ring. Emma Frost, White Queen becomes your employee and gets the bonus, Summoner Skill, Blink. Erica, Phantom Killer becomes your employee and gets the reward, Billion Compression Adamantium. 3 consecutive rewards. Even if Yi Han doesn't care about rewards now, he still feels happy. Soren's Supreme Lord of the Rings is naturally the demagogic ring in the Lord of the Rings series. With great power, but without showing anything, it was thrown into the lava. But when Yi Han took it, he could still feel the power of this ring. And it can communicate with the 3 spell powers in Yi Han's body. Sure enough, it's a magic treasure. The person Yi Han had always feared before was the man on Mount Everest. Although he didn't have time to provoke the other party, maybe the other party would come to provoke him one day. Although Yi Han is very strong now, he is serious. If the Ancient One wanted to exile him, there really was no way to do it. Now that there is the Supreme Lord of the Rings, there is also a means of confrontation. As the Dark Demon Monarch, Sauron gave everything to create this ring, but it will not belong to any treasure. As for the Summoner Skill, Blink, this made Yi Han even more satisfied. The flash distance is not as short as others think. In the game, it is 500 yards, which is a distance of 450 meters. And there is no cooling mechanism like in the game, there is only one, which consumes stamina. As long as it is an ability that consumes stamina, it is not too bad in Yi Han's opinion. The last is hundreds of millions of compressed adamantium. Speaking of adamantium, you can't help but meet Wolverine, who drives ahead. With adamantium's strong body, he can become a real Wolverine. But this adamantium has nothing to do with him. It comes from the world of StarCraft, the hero of the Protoss, Phoenix. And this is not ordinary adamantium, but billions of compressed. This powerful metal can allow him to resist those powerful Zerg without damage. This kind of metal obtained by Yi Han is no longer rare, and it can be used as the hull of the Retribution. The blueprint was still held in his hand and did not move. When the space battleship made of this metal is ready, you can also go out and play around in space. That must be more interesting than playing in the Empire. These things made Yi Han very satisfied, so he didn't care why these special ability people joined the own company. As long as they don't make trouble, the company is getting bigger and bigger, there is no need to think about these trivial matters. It's Eric's lab ahead. While Yi Han was still researching the ability of Open Black Lens Bracket, the Lord of the Rings Close Black Lens Bracket, Wolverine shouted to them. Yi Han looked out the window, and there happened to be a giant poster. Fantastic Wonderland, Mysterious Journey. This sentence made Yi Han seem familiar, but he couldn't remember where he saw it. The vehicle drove all the way to a small town. The town is very deserted, and there are hardly many people walking on the street, showing a sense of twilight. The building is also up to 3 floors, and there is only one building, which is out of place in such a small town. The gray metal outer wall shows a sense of technology and modernity. Engraved with huge amounts of Eric Dimensional Space Research Institute. A line of people was already standing in front of the door, waiting for Yi Han's market. Boss, Ms. Raven, you are welcome to come and inspect. I'm Eric Schwig, the person in charge here. As soon as Yi Han and Mystique got out of the car, Dr. Eric hurriedly greeted them. His research has always been regarded as a fantasy by others, and was even beaten into a lunatic for a time. Fortunately, Penglai Holdings valued his plan and invested in the construction of such a laboratory for him to study. For Penglai Holdings, he is really grateful to his bones. Don't be too happy now, I'll just say it bluntly, this time we came here because the accounts were a little different, so we all came to inspect. Mystique ignored Eric's smiling face and went to work. Solve the problem early and accompany the boss to play early. What? Wait for me to check, how could such a thing happen? Eric didn't expect such a thing to happen in his own lab. Jane, come and help me. He only cares about his own academics, and he is not very concerned about property. So I can only ask my own right-hand man Jane Foster to help find the problem. The two walked into the laboratory in a hurry, not knowing how to entertain Yi Han and his party first. As long as you become a scientist, you are not far from being a nerd. But when he saw this Jane, Yi Han also understood why the words looked so familiar. Isn't this the town that was destroyed by the destroyer armor? This laboratory is built here, but it really can find a place. That Jane is the future Thor's girlfriend. But it looks like Thor's Han hasn't fallen from the sky yet. Mystique trembled with her legs and walked into the laboratory with Yi Han. For the past 10 days, she has been staying in the RV with Yi Han, but she is tired. You must take a good rest and add enough water. As a result, the rest took more than 3 hours before Dr. Eric and the others found the answer. It was our mistake. There was a problem with the billing of an astronomical observatory. This is a receipt, this is a document, this is. Jane was afraid that Raven would be dissatisfied, so she listed all the materials. However, when he said that, his eyes always glanced at Yi Han's body again. In the hot weather in the west, Yi Han only wears half sleeves, and the streamlined musculature is displayed in front of her. As a muscle controller, Jane's eyes are hot. Just as Mystique was examining the materials, huge amounts of aurora appeared in the sky. Dr. Eric hurriedly greeted everyone with excitement and began to observe. Yi Han pouted helplessly, but the trouble still followed. 45. Odin. Stop pretending, I know you are strong. Asgard. Odin, holding Gungnir and clad in battle armor, stood in front of Thor. In his eyes, there is wisdom to see through everything, and disappointment for his son. At this moment, he is both Thor's father and Asgard's emperor. But no matter who he was, Thor's performance couldn't satisfy him. He loves fighting, but until now he doesn't have the true power in Master's body. With a reckless temperament, he almost provoked disputes in the Nine Realms again, destroying the peace he single-handedly created. And the most terrifying thing was that Thor was still smug about it, not knowing how much he had made a mistake. If he hadn't gone to rescue him, he would have died at the hands of Lof, king of the giants of Jotunheim. Such a Thor, how dare I teach Asgard to him with confidence? It seems that he must have an experience to urge him to grow as soon as possible. In Thor's amazed eyes, Odin stripped off his divine armor directly, and his divine power was also sealed. Throwing Thor directly into Bifrost, Mjolnir was also engraved by him and thrown into Bifrost. Whoever can lift Mjolnir can control the power of storm and lightning. Then declare it to the entire Asgard. Thor Odinson, who blatantly violated the orders of the God King, broke the peace of the Nine Realms, and attempted to reintroduce war into Asgard. I declare in the name of my grandfather, godfather and myself, Odin, to deprive Thor of his divine power and authority, and expel Asgard, exile Midgard. Under Odin's power, the entire Asgard heard this passage. Almost everyone showed a surprised expression. Thor, Odin's favorite son, has been recognized by all, and he will be the future king of Asgard. I didn't expect to be punished so severely. The 3 Asgard warriors and Sif, who went to Jotunheim with Thor, were very anxious when they heard this. It's a pity that the other party only heard Odin's will and completely ignored their request. Loki, go and beg Odin, and were willing to take responsibility for Thor back to Asgard. There was no way Sif even started begging her most annoying Loki for it. Thor is my big brother, and I want to come back, but you know his character and the will of God the Father can't be questioned. Loki rejected their offer outright. All 4 looked disappointed, but they all knew that Loki was right. Seeing that the 3 of them were no longer entangled, Loki lowered his head, as if feeling sorry for Thor, but no one noticed that the corner of his mouth had drawn a sinister smile. Just as they hesitated before Asgard, a crow flew out of Asgard and into Bifrost. The worried 3 warriors and Sif didn't notice, but Loki was acutely aware of it. The previously happy mood suddenly turned gloomy. It was the crow god Fujin, one of the messengers who patrolled the 9 realms in place of Odin. It also went to Midgard, and it seems the father still hasn't given up on Thor. Even so, does the father still think that I am inferior to Thor? The resentment in his heart increased again, and he still needed new preparations. What father god does not give me, I will take it myself. Odin has already begun to prepare to enter Odin's sleep. In order to prolong his life, he must go into deep sleep from time to time. But before falling asleep, he still glanced at Thor in the nether. Originally, Odin didn't want to do this to Thor, but the performance of the other party made him have to do it. Good iron also needs to be forged. Thor has the ability to become a ruler, and even his charisma can't match. However, the current Thor is far from enough. But not far from Thor, Odin also saw a young man. At the moment, he is eating Western-style pancakes in a Western-style restaurant. This man is also one of the important reasons why he banished Thor there. When he observed the 9 realms, he discovered this newborn powerhouse. Even he can feel the strength of the internal energy of the opponent's body. Although I don't know why the other party has chosen it, this kind of ordinary life is like ordinary people. But this kind of tolerance, this kind of calmness, is what his son lacks. In fact, Thor advocates power, and he doesn't feel that there is anything wrong. After all, he also relied on his strength to gain the position of God King, and he also relied on his strength to conquer the 9 realms. Strength can really do everything, and wisdom is just a supplement to strength. Unfortunately, Thor's strength is still too weak, but he already has a heart that doesn't match. It's also time to let him see what real power is. Just when he wanted to take his eyes back, he suddenly found that Yi-Han raised his head and actually crossed the barrier of the world and looked at him. However, Odin, who had already guessed about the opponent's strength, was not surprised and nodded to Yi-Han. Yi-Han also nodded at him. The Almighty Father's face still had to give a little. And there is no doubt that Odin knows himself. Others may not be able to detect them, but the Almighty Father, the all-seeing eye, and the one on Mount Everest can definitely detect it. Especially when Odin left Thor not far from his own, Yi-Han was more certain of this. However, he still ignored the muscular man lying on the ground, and took Ruiwen to eat local snacks. "Boss, what are you looking at?" Seeing Yi-Han raising his head, Raven asked strangely. The roof here is also nothing special, just ordinary whitewashed walls. Yi-Han also stopped looking at Odin, and concentrated on tasting the special American food. As for Odin's plans, he doesn't plan to intervene. That family's business is a bloody family ethics drama. It's covered in dog blood. Odin also gradually closed his eyes. The other party already knew that Thor was his heir. Even if he offended him in those places, it wouldn't be miserable, right? The location where Mjolnir fell. Countless people gathered here and held a party with a bonfire. The theme of the party is naturally to pull up this foreign object like a hammer. Just after several cars were burned with their motors, a group of men in black suddenly appeared and began to drive them away. Near the hammer, huge amounts of research sites were built directly. Phil Coulson is presenting a work report with Nick Fury. The object has been blocked, and the elements in it cannot be parsed, unable to be contained, and there is no way to move. Nick Fury thought for a moment. "I will send Hawkeye to help you. This object is officially filed under the number 084, don't let others touch it." After hanging up the phone, Nick Fury sighed. Finally, there is something that has nothing to do with Peng Lai, but it seems to be a difficult problem. The limitations of S.H.I.E.L.D. are becoming more and more obvious. 46. Asgard's ultimate weapon of war. After a night in town, Mystique has started a full account check. Don't think that this is just a laboratory, but as long as it is a scientific experiment, there is no one who will not spend money, so the accounts are surprisingly complicated. Mystique just checked the astronomical watches bill last night, and is now starting a full inspection. Yi-Han, who has no time to pay attention to Odin's silly son, goes out alone to listen to the folk songs of New Mexico. But Thor is not so alone. He fell from the sky and was seen by the people in Eric's laboratory. When he woke up, he would say things like, "I am Thor, the son of Odin, I am from Asgard, and Midgard is but one of the 9 realms." It's almost exactly the same as Eric's algorithmically obtained world overlapping theory. Such a living example, how could Dr. Eric let him go? Grab it directly, as a guinea pig. Constantly asking about the relationship between the 9 realms, listening to Eric was fascinated. Thor wanted to struggle, but unfortunately, with his current physique, he couldn't fight a stun gun. But other people in the lab are not crazy like Eric. They don't think that this strong man who has eaten too much protein powder will be a visitor from Otherworld. Also Thor, who had never been afraid of electric shocks, had an honest conversation with Eric after being fired a few times. This kind of picture, no matter how you look at it, it looks like 2 lunatics are communicating. Outside the window, a crow stood there, just staring indifferently, without any thought to help Thor. Odin let Thor down as the experience, and that's part of the experience. Tell me about the principle of Bifrost again. Do you think the 9 realms are overlapping now? What's wrong with the diagram I drew? Eric held the notebook and asked frantically, a series of questions and answers that made Thor a little overwhelmed. Father God, I know I was wrong. Everyone here is crazy, let me go back. Thor seemed to have repented, but Mjolnir was still stagnant in the distance, without a trace of shaking. But Odin wouldn't pick him up, but his good brother had already prepared a gift for him. While Odin fell asleep, Loki got his Gingnir and used it to gain access to his treasure trove. There are many treasures in it, each of which can trigger the looting of many powerful people, but their meaning to Odin is just some collections. To those passing by the eternal fire, casket of ancient winters, Loki didn't even look. His goal this time is very clear, the destroyer armor. The war weapons Odin built to stop the Tenjin group were all made of Uru metal, which was almost indestructible, but could destroy all known substances. Such a weapon, even Thor, who has no sealed power, can't resist, not to mention that he is just an ordinary person now. Since we want to solve it, then kill all these guys who threaten our rule. Holding Gingnir, who represents power, and Master, the powerful destroyer armor, Loki's ambitions have suddenly grown a lot. The 3 warriors of Asgard and Sif will never agree to take charge of Asgard by themselves, so they will accompany Thor to death. At the moment, the 3 warriors of Asgard are still begging the big brother of Sif, Heimdall, the patron saint of Asgard, to let them down. I only follow the king's will, without the will I have no right to let you go. After he finished speaking, he left Bifrost's guardian sword Bolt Steel with a stern face. He's really ruthless. The 3 warriors couldn't help complaining about the stereotyped Heimdall. This time even his little sister Sif didn't choose to protect him. At this moment, countless lightning strikes hit Bolt Steel, and as Bifrost's key, the portal of the teleportation suddenly opened wide. Although the 3 warriors and Sif didn't understand what happened, they quickly seized the opportunity and rushed in. The people of Asgard have brought the concept of recklessness to the ultimate. In the distance, holding Gingnir's Loki, a satisfied smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. The damned are coming together soon, and he too will be the future king of Asgard. With another burst of brilliance, the 4 of Sif appeared in the town, wearing Viking-style clothes, and were regarded as perverts by pedestrians on the street. But the 3 of them didn't seem to see these disgusting eyes, strutting their heads high, and shouting Thor's name loudly. My friend came to pick me up, let me go. Hearing the unique loud voices of the 3 warriors, Thor, who was bound, struggled quickly. I'm here, did God the Father forgive me? His expression was simply ecstatic. It had been hundreds of years since he had come to Midgard, and he had no idea that this place had become like this. The researcher in the laboratory is sweating profusely. Is the lunatic still leading a group these days? And Dr. Eric has begun to urge others to pick them up. The more people in this other world, the better. He already felt that the mystery of space was about to unfold to him. Thor, are you okay? Let's save you. The 3 warriors and Sif, who followed Thor's voice, saw that Thor was bound, and immediately started to fight with the people in the laboratory. At this moment, a larger beam of light was projected from the sky, which startled everyone. A huge amount of armor appeared in front of them. The dark and mad body, taller than all the houses in the town, and the powerful energy contained in it all show its extraordinariness. The second it appeared, the crow god Fujin flew towards Asgard quickly. Thor's trials may be many, but the destroyer is absolutely impossible to appear in the ranks of trials. Destroyer armor. Why is he here? As the three Asgard warriors, they are no strangers to the destroyer. Yi-Han was also in a tavern, looking at huge amounts of destroyer. There was no one else in the tavern, and even the folk musicians he had specially recruited had already been frightened by the sudden appearance of the metal monster. His leisure life was completely ruined by this huge amount of metal shell. Thor, why do you always get the favor of God? As stupid as you, even if you make such a big mistake, God still doesn't give up on you. I don't agree, the throne should be handed over to a more suitable person, and this person should be me. The resentment accumulated since childhood, this time finally all vented out. The destroyer's visor begins to unfold, constantly accumulating energy within a high-temperature beam capable of melting everything. Thor was completely taken aback by Loki's words. He never thought his own little brother would hate himself so much. At this moment, the high-temperature beam has come towards him who cannot move. 47. Destroyer. Should be destroyed. Huge amounts of high-temperature beams penetrated the walls of the laboratory in an instant, and the high-density materials above did not cause any hindrance. Fortunately, Sif had been keeping an eye on Thor and dragged him over earlier. This allowed Thor to escape the fate of being dissolved. Hastily removed all the restraints on his body, and the three warriors almost ran away carrying Thor. After all, with Thor's current physical fitness alone, it's impossible to outrun the destroyer's pursuit. But even they, in front of the destroyer, can only run away and are powerless to resist. As Asgard's ultimate weapon of war, it's not that simple. Another high-temperature beam passed before them, and all the buildings hit by the beam were dissolved and disappeared. It even left huge amounts of ravines on the ground, which became the sky for them to escape. Vorstage, you protect Thor, let's go up and hold the destroyer. Fandral entrusted the task of protecting Thor to the most inflexible, Vorstage, and the remaining three rushed towards the destroyer. Although Thor is a little naive, he also has his own unique personal charm. They can all sacrifice for Thor. No, you can't fight the destroyer. Thor shouted loudly but didn't stop them. The three dexterously cling to the body of the destroyer, but their weapons made of immortal steel could not do any damage to the body made by Ulu at all. It can only cause a little effect when the opponent is charging and aiming. However, this also reduced the pressure on Vortigern, and he was about to take Thor around the ravine. Loki was also a little anxious. He increased his urging strength, and the destroyer's body began to expand. Huge amounts of energy spurted out of his body, repelling them all. Huge amounts of energy instantly vaporized them into serious injuries. If it wasn't for their body density much stronger than that of ordinary people, they would have been killed. Father, I know I'm wrong, give me back the power. This time Thor is not for himself, but for his own companions, but unfortunately this still falls short of the standard Odin set for him. Odin watched him from among Asgard, two crows on his shoulders. Fujin had woken him up, but it didn't serve the purpose of training him, so he didn't rush to stop Loki. But now it seems that Thor also seems to have reached the limit. Odin's heart softened and he was ready to help Thor regain his strength. But when he glimpsed a part of the town, his movement stopped. Yi-Han was looking at the Eric laboratory at the moment, and his expression was a little unpleasant. Although the name is Eric's, this laboratory is the property of Punglai Holdings. There are now huge amounts of holes opened above by the destroyer. If Mystique hadn't been organized properly and the employees inside were evacuated, I'm afraid the employees would have suffered a lot. Looking at the destroyer who was still destroying the town, he gave Odin's face. Now it's Odin's turn to give him the face. This destroyer, he has taken it apart. At this moment, Loki, who controls the destroyer, still knows nothing about it, and is still venting his own resentment. Yi-Han's legs were slightly bent, and the power of the dragon talisman was extracted from his hands. It was not a simple use, but the activation method of the Tianshan Liuyang Palm. As one of the most brilliant martial arts of the Shaoyao school, the emphasis is on the strength of the palm. In combination with the fierce dragon blasting power, the palm power has obtained a qualitative ascension. Yang Tianjin. The most powerful move of the Tianshan Liuyang Palm. A palm print composed of fire headed towards the destroyer. The palm print was not big, but it was real. All the dragon blasting power that Yi Han sent out was restrained in this palm, without the slightest leakage. The violent amount of burning and blasting did not shrink under such oppression, but instead became more turbulent. Compressed to thick, you can feel how powerful these energies will be when they burst. Without Loki noticing it, the palm print sank into the destroyer's shell. The seemingly innocuous slap created a terrifying power inside the destroyer. The violent power erupted at its most central point. The original powerful energy in the destroyer's body is completely incomparable with this power. After the palm power of Tianshan Liuyang Palm completely exploded, the entire body of the destroyer made a huge amount of sound. Loki, who was controlling it, was at a loss as to why the destroyer was like this. Immediately opened the body again, wanting to completely dissipate the power inside. It is a pity that this palm is like the gangrene of the tarsus, which is tightly attached to the body. It seems violent, but there is still a force that is coordinating. Ulu metal has reached its limit, it has turned red, and it is dissatisfied with all kinds of cracks. At this time, some residual power leaked from these analyses, melting the nearby soil. As the controller, Loki instantly hugged his own head, and just now, the destroyer was finally overwhelmed and completely destroyed. Fragments scattered in an instant, filling the entire town. And he also suffered a lot of backlash, a splitting headache. Failed. You must escape. Although shocked by the destruction of the destroyer, he still chooses to flee first, otherwise it will be too late when Thor returns. After thinking about it, he picked up Casket of Ancient Winters, but as soon as he got it, his body began to change. The skin is actually turning into the blue-gray of the ice giant. Although a little surprised, he brought him to Bifrost without time to think. Now everyone is forbidden to travel unless they get Odin. Heimdall froze before he could speak. After launching Bifrost, he did not choose a location, and directly teleported out. As soon as he left, Odin appeared next to Bifrost. Watching Loki leave, he sighed. He also understands what the other party thinks. It's not that he is biased, Loki's heir is too small, and he is not a candidate to be an emperor. Although the other party is not his parent and child, but they have been raised for more than 1,000 years, and there are still feelings. Even if Loki did something like this, he chose to forgive. Otherwise, with his strength, Loki could not have escaped from Asgard. With a sigh, he froze Heimdall and went back to sleep in Asgard. As for Thor, he has not yet become a qualified emperor, and the danger has been touched. Let him continue to test. Above Earth, Thor looked at the shard with tears in his eyes. Although he didn't see how the destroyer became like this, other than God Father, who else could have this kind of strength? God the Father has not given up on me, he is still watching me. Father, I won't let you down. I'll be Thor again, standing in front of you. Thor shouted loudly to the sky. Just then, several cars stopped beside him. More than a dozen people have displayed weapons and credentials. 48. The great era is coming, all parties are ready. The organization that can best solve Yi Han's problems right now, in addition to the ubiquitous shield on this planet, is the ubiquitous Hydra in S.H.I.E.L.D. So Yi Han directly told Eric to give up studying Thor and left him to S.H.I.E.L.D. This kind of big trouble, it's better to leave it to other people to worry about it. This family, apart from the seemingly majestic old father who doesn't understand education at all, is a group of problem children who have been disabled by education. He didn't want to get involved with them at all. Continue to start the journey of walking and walking. The glory of the northern god is not as comfortable as a barbecue. The S.H.I.E.L.D. Hydra agent has already started reporting to the top. The Norse god. The test of the father god. The authority of the hammer Thor that came down from the sky. Can you become Thor when you lift it up? Thor, who is completely a hammer, has no cover at all, and has reported all the information. Hearing this information, Pierce's eyes flashed. The temptation to become a god is something that no one is immune to, especially someone like him who has already been buried in half. Moreover, being Thor might be able to rely on that guy's control. Thinking of Yi Han, who was in front of Owen and annihilated the master who directly captured him in one fell swoop, he always felt like a stone was blocked in his heart. But the opponent's strength prevented him from making any move. Now that there is some hope, he naturally wants to grasp it. Peng Lai's boss, Yi Han, is also haunting nearby. The Thor, who has lost his authority, appeared from his laboratory. Both Pierce and Nick Fury put Yi Han on top of intelligence. Information related to him must be reported. Although the reason is unclear, it does not prevent him from executing it. Pierce's smile grew even stronger when he learned that Thor came from the other side's lab. Does this mean that Yi Han is also coveting Thor's power? If I acquire Thor's power earlier than the other master, I can definitely turn over. Thinking of this, his heart was full of fire. Keep a good relationship with Thor and find out more about Mjolnir from his mouth. This Thor must know the key to becoming a god, and the master must be in his hands. After hanging up, the agents quickly contacted Nick Fury. He was similarly bombarded by the news. Is God really real? The alien thing they controlled earlier was actually Mjolnir, and the lifter can become Thor. At the moment, he was a little moved, but fortunately, he relied on enough willpower to endure it. Set up Phil Coulson and Hawkeye first, and don't let anyone try to lift that hammer. Although he also knows that the success rate is very slim, becoming a god is not so simple, but he is not afraid of 10,000, just in case. It takes someone you trust enough to attempt to lift Mjolnir to guarantee control over Thor's power. After hanging up the phone, although his heart was disturbed by the appearance of God, it brought him more pressure. Even the Norse gods have appeared. What will appear next? Olympus God. Our God, amen. The superhero team must be formed, otherwise S.H.I.E.L.D. is not even qualified to intervene in this kind of thing. Thinking of this, he looked at the nutrition cabin behind him, and there lay a tall and strong man. The instruments in the outside world showed his life fluctuations. It was as smooth as a straight line, and it took more than 2 minutes for the beating of a grain of rice to appear. Captain America, you need to wake up quickly. This is what he came out of with a lot of resources from the Arctic. In order to maintain his life, even S.H.I.E.L.D.'s consumption of resources is a bit heartache. But there was no sign of him waking up. Although there is no Hydra, the enemies of this era are much more difficult to deal with than them. After saying this, he left the place. But he didn't see that since he heard the word Hydra, the signs of his life had obviously strengthened a little. Has been able to appear a beat a minute. In a military restricted area. The unsmiling General Ross and the Big Boss are experimenting with Banner serum on humans. General Ross seems to be very calm, but it can be seen from the frustrating fingers from time to time. His heart is far less peaceful than his appearance. During this period of time, a lot of Banner's blood has been consumed, and the inventory is not much. But none of the results came out. You are all elites in the army, and the people I trust the most. The opportunity in front of you may make you stronger, or you may die. Does anyone want to quit? None of the 5 soldiers standing behind their backs retreated. They were ready before they came here. Moreover, retreating is inevitable, and General Ross is not a soft-hearted person. Very good. Henry, you come first. Ross nodded with satisfaction, and let one person inject a blood of Banner first. With fluorescent green, it began to merge into his body along his blood vessels. Following the flow of blood, his whole body was turning green. Although it was very light, it did not dissipate. When the blood was left in his heart, Henry turned his face aside and sat on the ground. The others hurriedly dodged. They all know the power of Hulk. If the other party can't control them, they will suffer. Henry's body is still like a mutation. A large piece of it swells here, and it becomes dark green there, but it just can't be completely transformed. Don't control yourself, let the blood be fully transformed. The Big Boss can see the situation of the other party at a glance. Even though he was ready to sacrifice, deep down, he was still full of resistance to the transformation of Banner's blood. Even if the boss reminded him, he still couldn't reverse his own consciousness. I don't. Death. In the end, Henry did not choose to accept it. In the confrontation with Banner's blood, his body was completely destroyed, and it began to collapse from the genetic level, turning into a pool of rotten flesh. Looking at Henry's fate, the others swallowed their saliva. Such a method of death is indeed terrifying. The big boss seemed to have no emotions and began to urge the experiment to proceed. Another soldier was injected with Hulk blood. However, it was completely different from the previous one. It swelled violently and turned green all over, but it couldn't stop. After expanding to the limit, it burst open in an instant. Flesh and blood were completely splashed out, and even the people watching on the side got a lot of it. General Ross's expression was a little ugly. The soldiers who did the experiments were the best in his hands, but instead of being in the war, they died because of the experiments. How could the experiment fail? You should understand this. The boss's words didn't seem like consolation, and he was also injecting serum when he said it. It seems that the soldiers are not treated as human beings at all. What's wrong with my body? Why is it melting? The third soldier also turned into a pool of green solution. The boss still kept going. The fourth one finally turned into Hulk after the injection. Did it? Why doesn't he move? General Ross also, because the experiment was really successful, the other party's meaning has been burned by endless anger. Only one husk remains. With so many failures, General Ross did not dare to experiment lightly. Bronchus, don't inject yourself this time. Emil Bronchus was his strongest fighter, and the previous losses had been big enough. But Bronchus looked at the green blood with obsession in his eyes. No. I want to try. 49. Peng Lai, who was targeted by all parties. Half a month after the destroyer incident, Yi Han's RV finally returned to the starting point. It's been a month and nothing seems to have changed here. As soon as he got out of the car, Ruiwen was dragged away by the leaders of more than 10 departments. After all, she was in charge of the operation of the company. However, there are still many employees watching Yi Han, especially a few new employees. They worked hard to get a job with Raven, and a large part of the reason was to make their first meeting with Yi Han. There is no lack of urban white-collar workers who want to borrow their colors to become high-ranking. Business promotion potential rules, universal. But there are 3 women who are nothing like these people. Phoenix, with a hot body and a beautiful face, and the White Queen with dazzling blonde hair and a dusty temperament are all peeking at Yi Han with their eyes. Is this the boss of Peng Lai Holdings? Although they have been undercover in this company for nearly a month, they have not found any trace of mutant on-mind modification or corresponding technology. But the 3 of Storm have been deliberately avoiding them all the time, which is deliberately affirmed. If it wasn't for the fear of discovering something, and a member of the X Academy, it would be impossible to do such a thing. Then this company must have a secret they didn't detect. If it is not found in the building, then the other party is likely to have left. The time period of Yi Han's travel was perfectly staggered from the time period when they came. Storm and their transformation are likely to be inseparable from each other. So they have to seize every opportunity to contact Yi Han and discover the secret. In addition to them, there was also a young girl with a fit body and a kind of wildness, who was also looking at Yi Han. Is this the helm of Peng Lai? He was just an ordinary person, and he didn't feel any momentum. Those strong people would actually be willing to work under his hands. Erica didn't stay idle when she came to this company. After a secret investigation, she also discovered the situation. Some time ago, some people from unknown organizations sneaked in, and they were no weaker than her. She thought that Peng Lai was going to make a lot of trouble this time. As a result, the other party sneaked into Peng Lai's warehouse, seemingly trying to steal some technological items. But he was crushed to death by the taciturn muscular ugly man with his bare hands. When they escaped, a security guard shot and burned them all to ashes. Are the current strongmen so close to the people? Security guard. See warehouses. Erica began to believe the rumors she heard that there are many terrifying powerhouses in Penglai. Otherwise, there is absolutely no way it would be such a waste. She has a lot of interest in this building that has begun to show mysteriousness. As the real owner of Penglai building, Yi Han is naturally among the ranks that she dares to be interested in. Although none of the three of them thought about what to do in the workplace, Yi Han's eyes were a bit hotter than other women who had ideas. These were all seen by Mystique. These few women who just arrived didn't even blink their eyes. Maybe they had a lot of ideas about the boss. And they are also very outstanding in appearance, and their temperament is also better. They must not be allowed to easily touch the boss. After this trip, Mystique, who thinks that her relationship with Yi Han has sublimated, is ready for the gong fighting drama. Even though she knew that Yi Han would definitely not be a single show, but 100 flowers blooming, she still wanted to stop all those bitches who approached the boss with bad ideas. Fortunately, looking at Yi Han's three people, they didn't know they had been blacklisted by Mystique. There was too much work, and Mystique couldn't solve it in a short time, so Yi Han went back to his own office. Before he could sit down, Yumi jumped out of the corner and rubbed his body against his trouser legs. This time out to play, Yi Han didn't bring it with him. The separation for such a long time made this terrifying creature whose intelligence is much higher than that of a cat a little irritable. Even Mystique, who already knew something about it, deliberately let people feed it a lot, and it was on the verge of breaking out. In the past 2 days, some tentacles have been squirming at the corners of its mouth, and the employees in the building do not know how dangerous they are working. Fortunately, Yi Han finally came back, and Yumi's appetite, which had already started to riot, was appeased. Just as he was scratching Yumi, he looked at the door of the office, and he could feel that there was someone outside the door. Standing there, but never knocking on the door to come in. It was Erica who was outside the door. After finishing her work first, she stood in front of Yi Han's door, raised her hand several times but put it down again. Penglai's strength, she has learned from the battle in the warehouse, is by no means comparable to the hand. No wonder the organization chose to let her go undercover, and now she is just asking for information, not daring to set foot in New York. But so far, she has not passed on any useful information to the hand. After seeing the power of Penglai, some small thoughts began to appear in her heart. She wants to be a real Penglai employee. At her age, she has been trained to be a cold-blooded killer. In this regard, she did not have the slightest gratitude for the opponent but hated it more. But under the coercion of a large number of masters of the Hand Association, she did not dare to escape easily. After all, no matter how strong she is, she cannot withstand endless assassinations. But now, Penglai is the best harbor for her scarred ship to dock. With this thought in mind, Erica couldn't hold back her inner impulse. But when he really arrived at Yi Han's door, he didn't dare to knock on the door. After all, she was an undercover agent sent by the Hand Association. Even if she wanted to give up the darkness, would Penglai accept it? I was still thinking about it a moment ago. I pushed it away, and told the boss my true identity. The next second, Erica's heart was shaking again. If she said it, Penglai kicked herself out, and the Hand would chase and kill her again. Wouldn't it be worse? She was so entangled, she couldn't make a decision. What are you doing here? Is the work done? Erica was delaying so much time that Mystique was finishing things. As soon as she saw the person she noticed before standing outside Yi Han's door, Mystique went into a state of alert. I want to ask you, Senior, about some work problems, but now that I have figured it out, I won't bother you anymore. After being disturbed by Mystique, Erica could no longer make up her mind, so she could only find an excuse and walked into the descending elevator. Watching the voice of the other party leaving, Mystique's eyes narrowed slightly. Originally, she thought that the other party was Bitcha who wanted to be in the top position, but through this contact, she found that the other party was not easy. 50. Hand Union. I've done a lot. After Erica left Yi Han's floor, she sighed. Although she already had the idea of getting rid of the Hand, it was a pity that her courage was not enough to support her decision. But before she could adjust her mood, the phone rang. A number without a name, but Erica knew what the number represented. This is the dedicated mobile number for the Hand Association to contact her. The Hand Society is looking for her for information again. Pretend to hide in an escape channel at will, and talk in a low voice. Erica. Still have nothing to gain. You shouldn't have discovered anything based on your ability. Murakami's voice came from the phone. The tone already showed impatience. The desire for the kill is deepening day by day, and they can't wait. Peng Lai seems to have a lot of secrets, but my working time is still very short, and I can't get in touch with them. Give me some time and I will definitely satisfy you. Erica deliberately forgot what she saw. Now she just wants to hold off as long as she can. The boss of Peng Lai has gone back. You should try your best to get in touch with him and get useful information at any cost. The taste of being chased by death, only those who have experienced it know. Murakami pointed out a bright way to Erica who just returned today. Although there was only one Erica mixed in Peng Lai, he still had a lot of people near the building. The information that Yi Han came back had already been obtained by them immediately. Yes, I will approach Yi Han's side as soon as possible. Erica agreed quickly, but in her heart she just sneered. Wait for me to pass the message to you. Wait to die, you guys. Although Murakami and the others have been concealing the purpose of the kill, the urgency cannot be concealed. Through her secret investigation, she has already guessed a general idea. Although he didn't dare to announce his withdrawal directly, it was a successful revenge to hang the other party like this. When you succeed, we will give you great honor. The 5 fingers of the hand will meet, and you are indispensable. You will fill the vacancy of Mrs. Gao. In order to make Erica work hard, he even drew a big cake. However, this pie is not fragrant for Erica, who has seen through the hand union. After hanging up the phone, Erica tidied up her instrument and was about to go back to her normal work. A series of applause sounded in the corridor. Erica hurriedly looked in the direction the voice came from. Mystique and Ghost Rider were standing on the aisle watching her. Miss Raven, how did you come to this place? She shook her phone as she said, my family calls, find a clean place to answer. Although he was defending, there was a cold sweat on his forehead. She had already recognized that Ghost Rider next to Mystique was the security guard who easily burned a group of people that day. Now she can only hope that the other party hadn't heard the conversation between herself and Murakami. So your family is a hand union. Erica. Mystique's words immediately frightened Erica into an attacking stance, and the 2 10 hands hidden on her body had already appeared in her hands. The other party is always there. The company she entered under a pseudonym. If the other party hadn't heard Murakami call her that, it would be impossible to know her name. Relax, you haven't disclosed any information about the company before, and it seems that you are not so close to the Hand Association. As long as you listen to us, you will be safe. Mystique reassured Erica, who was startled, and began to ask for her own. In front of Yi Han's door, Erica's mood fluctuated, but after a few steps, it was revealed that she was not an ordinary person. Every trained person will reveal relevant traces when they raise their hands and feet, and even if it is deliberately concealed, it is difficult to hide them all. Mystique noticed her immediately. Moreover, in order to prevent Erica from being stronger than her, she specially recruited Ghost Rider. I didn't expect to dig up the big melon of the Hand Union. It was the 2 of them who dealt with the hand meeting at the beginning. I didn't expect that the other party did not hide away, and began to put people in the company. Although I don't know what kind of bad thoughts Shuhei has, this is unforgivable. To put some pressure on Erica, Ghost Rider looked at him and said a word. Don't think about running away, you should see the consequences. On the day Erica inquired about the information, he discovered Erica long ago, but the other party didn't do anything to harm the company, so he didn't care about her. But this puts Erica under amazing pressure. I kept saying in my heart. He knew I was here. He knows I'm here. She is also proud of her own hidden technology, but she didn't expect that the other party just let her go. Whatever you want me to do, I will do it. Erica put her 10 hands on the ground and gave up struggling. In Yi-han's office, Stark was chatting with Yi-han enthusiastically. After hearing the news of Yi-han's return, he rushed over immediately. Seeing the opportunity that Mystique was not there, he successfully entered the office. After not communicating with Stark for more than a month, Yi-han let him in. Nick Fury from S.H.I.E.L.D. has been looking for me recently and wants me to join a hero team. You seem to have a good relationship with S.H.I.E.L.D. Can they let me go? Seeing that Yi-han was in a good mood today, Stark made his own request. He wants to be a hero, but he doesn't want to be controlled, and he doesn't want to form a team with other people. Even though Stark maintained a low profile in front of Yi-han, his heart was still arrogant. But for his request, Yi-han was still teasing the cat. Stark was used to Yi-han's reaction, and there was no unpleasantness, just a continued request. S.H.I.E.L.D. is too much trouble. I have refused more than 10 times, and they still won't give up. If you join them, you will be required to do all kinds of things all day long. Who will implement the global new energy plan will also damage the interests of our company. Stark is getting more and more talkative, and our company has brought him and Yi-han closer. And he also highlighted the role of his own. Those who didn't know it really thought he would manage the company himself. Yi-han remained indifferent. Whether Avengers will be established, whether Stark will join, none of these matters to him. You're here to disturb the boss again, he just came back and needs a rest. Mystique, who had settled Erica's matter, returned to Yi-han's office, only to find that Stark was actually inside, and her smiling face suddenly turned cold. Just start chasing Stark away without any hesitation.